Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, and thank you for your support. If there's a favorite novel on the channel and you want the next part, you're just one step away. Become a Patreon member and I can make it depending on your tier. Thank you for your attention.
In Xingcheng, a man covered in injuries sits on the ground. 3 months have passed and finally I am going to die. Lin Xiao looked at the several fatal wounds on his body. Having been kicked out of the team, he could only silently wait to die here. Not far away, a group of humanoid monsters were closing in on him. Knock, knock, knock. A series of urgent knocks sounded on the door, followed by an even more anxious voice. Lin Xiao, are you better yet? This has been taking way too long, I was so worried. Lin Xiao slowly opened his eyes, instinctively looking around warily. Wasn't I dead? Where am I? Then he felt a rumbling in his stomach and a gush of fluid came out. So smooth, so refreshing. Lin Xiao couldn't help but shout it out. The brothers outside the door were even more upset. He was already feeling incredibly stifled outside, and Lin Xiao actually had to provoke him from inside. But Lin Xiao didn't have time to pay attention to him, he was confused himself. Wasn't I already dead? What's going on? Reborn, and reborn on a toilet. Although Lin Xiao was a little confused, he had already realized that he seemed to have been reborn. Lin Xiao's stomach rumbled again, and the intense comfort interrupted his thoughts. Lin Xiao, if you don't come out, I'm going to pull the door open. The knocking on the door grew increasingly violent, and the words spoken became increasingly distorted. All right, I'll be right out. Lin Xiao had already had his fun. Now his more pressing matter was figuring out the current situation, rather than wasting time here continuing to have diarrhea. As soon as Lin Xiao pushed open the toilet door, a fat hand shoved it aside, and then a huge body squeezed in. Zhiqiang, you really need to lose weight. Lin Xiao subconsciously called out the other person's name. Wait, Zhiqiang, I have truly been reborn. In his previous life, Zhiqiang had already died at the very beginning of the apocalypse. So now. Lin Xiao immediately turned on his phone, which showed the time as 8 p.m. on February 22, 2222 in the Huxia calendar. Lin Xiao will never forget this day for the rest of his life. Because in 2 hours at 22:22 on February 22, 2222, that is the time when the apocalypse will begin. Lin Xiao felt a sudden, inexplicable panic. Damn it, I was reborn, why couldn't it have been sooner? Lin Xiao cursed inwardly. 2F***** G hours. What the hell can you do in that time? Cursing is one thing, but getting anxious won't do any good now. 2 hours later, a strange fog will blanket the entire world. No one knows how the fog formed, but it contains a substance that has never been found on Earth before. Once exposed to fog, there is a high probability that mutation will occur. Mutations are divided into two types. One possibility is that they transform into humanoid monsters, also known as zombies. Another possibility is that they will undergo mutations, even awaken supernatural abilities and become mutants. However, the number of mutants is extremely small. Forget about 1 in 100, they're at least 1 in 10,000. Lin Xiao was one of them, although he was just a bottom-tier E-class mutant, but this at least guarantees the possibility of his evolution. Ordinary people are the ones who suffer the most. They can't easily become zombies and they can't gain stronger abilities. In the early stages of the apocalypse, simply surviving was pure torture for them. While Lin Xiao was pondering, Zhiqiang had already come out of the toilet after relieving himself. Holding up his pants with one hand, Zhiqiang patted Lin Xiao's shoulder with the other. Lin Xiao, I'm going to confess my feelings to Chen Feifei tonight, do you want to come with me? Seeing Lin Xiao sitting blankly on the bed, Zhiqiang winked at him and said something. Lin Xiao snapped out of his reverie and looked at his right hand with disdain. Damn it, he probably hasn't washed his hands yet. However, Chen Feifei. Lin Xiao was no stranger to this name. In fact, it was this person who ultimately led to his being kicked out of the team and dying. A hint of hatred flashed in Lin Xiao's eyes. Now that he had been reborn, this life would be different. Chen Feifei was their classmate, but she was a famous campus beauty throughout Xingcheng University. And Zhiqiang, although he was quite well known at school and considered a top student, he was well liked by all the teachers. Unfortunately, her appearance is somewhat pleasing, coupled with her obesity. Therefore, Lin Xiao greatly admired his courage to confess his feelings to Chen Feifei on such an incredibly auspicious day. Lin Xiao had already remembered by now. In his previous life, it was at this time that the fat man went out to confess his feelings to Chen Feifei, only to be rejected by her. Just then, the white fog descended and the apocalypse arrived. And then the fat man never came back. Lin Xiao stayed in the dormitory instead of going out with the fat guy because of the diarrhea incident. Later, After the white fog dissipated, Lin Xiao happened to be assigned to the same team as Chen Feifei. According to Chen Feifei, she had already reached the dormitory entrance when a white fog suddenly descended, and then the fat man mutated into a zombie. Chen Feifei was lucky to survive. Later, Lin Xiao and Chen Feifei had a deeper connection because they were classmates. Only. Lin Xiao was lost in some unpleasant memories. The fact that he would be abandoned by the team and then die was closely related to Chen Feifei. This woman's inner self is far more terrifying than her outward appearance. Moreover, at that time, Chen Feifei had already demonstrated her extraordinary talent and possessed A-level superpowers. If becoming a mutant is already 1 in 10,000, then awakening an A-level ability is something Lin Xiao has only heard of in the entire Star City over the past 3 months. As for whether there are S-level abilities or even higher abilities beyond that, that's beyond Lin Xiao's knowledge. After all, he had only lived for a short time, and he was only at the lowest level of mutation, with his eyes being the most useless part of the mutation. If it were another part of his body that mutated, it would at least make him a little stronger in combat. As for the eyes, apart from having good vision and being able to see some scenery that others cannot, they don't serve much of a purpose. However, in this life, Lin Xiao is reborn and he has a chance to avenge Chen Feifei. I'm not going, my stomach hurts and I might need to poop later. The conversation was exactly the same as in my previous life, not a single word was wrong. Okay then, I actually still want to poop. It's all because of the food in the cafeteria tonight, I don't know what's wrong with it. Zia Qiang complained. This meal that caused diarrhea almost ruined all my careful preparation. However, I've been preparing for this day for a long time and I'm sure I'll succeed tonight. Brother, just wait for me to return with a beauty. After saying that, Zia Qiang laughed a few times and left the dormitory. They exuded an air of absolute determination. Seeing Zia Qiang leave, Lin Xiao silently mourned for him a few times in his heart. The white mist could not be blocked, so Zia Qiang's death was irreversible. Rather than letting him turn into a zombie in the dormitory and endanger Lin Xiao, it's better to let him go out. Having lived in the apocalypse for 3 months and suffered betrayal, Lin Xiao deeply understands the principle that everyone looks out for themselves. After Zia Qiang left, Lin Xiao immediately took out his phone. There are still 2 hours before the white fog appears and he has to do something. The first thing to do is to inform your parents. Lin Xiao's family is also from Hunan province but not in Changsha. Time was of the essence. Even if he wanted to rush back, it was too late. The call was quickly connected and a woman's voice came from the other end. Son, what made you suddenly decide to call your mom? The sound of mahjong tiles clattering came from the phone. Mom, it's an emergency. Quickly call Dad and let's go home together. Lin Xiao's voice sounded rather urgent, which left Lin's mother somewhat bewildered. Has something happened at home? Mom, I can't explain it to you in detail. You have to listen to me. Oh, and I also need to go to the supermarket to buy more food, preferably things that can be stored for a long time. Remember, you must be home before 10 o'clock. You absolutely must remember that. In such a short time, Lin Xiao had no way to explain anything in detail to his mother. Moreover, he couldn't explain it. If he said he was reborn and that the apocalypse would come in 2 hours, his mother would probably suspect he had some serious illness. After talking to her mother, Lin Xiao did not call her father again. He knew that at home, given his mother's position, his father had no choice but to do whatever she said. No reason is needed. Lin Xiao had no relatives other than her parents. After settling things with his family, Lin Xiao pushed open the dormitory door. Next, it's time to prepare myself. Although Lin Xiao's family wasn't extremely wealthy, they were still considered middle class. As the only son in the family, Lin Xiao receives a considerable amount of pocket money each month. Lin Xiao has been single since birth, so it doesn't cost her much. I checked my phone, I still had over 3,000 yuan in it, which was more than enough. Anyway, this money will be useless after the apocalypse. After leaving the dormitory, Lin Xiao went straight to the supermarket. Because of the special nature of today, it's said to be the day with the most 2s in the world, though no one really knows how many. Besides, it's almost 10:22 p.m. Countless young couples gathered together to celebrate this romantic moment they had envisioned. As Lin Xiao walked along, watching his friends flaunting their love, a cold smile crept across his face. 2 more hours, and who knows if they can accept that their beloved partner, with whom they made vows of eternal love, has suddenly turned into a zombie. Without thinking about anything else, Lin Xiao headed straight for the school supermarket. As one of the best universities in Changsha, the school supermarket is quite large, offering a wide variety of goods. 3,000 yuan isn't a lot, but it's enough to stockpile enough supplies for one person for 7 days. 7 days later, the fog will dissipate, and then everyone can come out to forage for food. As for the 7 days during which the dense fog appeared, if you don't want to die, you'd better behave yourself. Due to the dense fog, both visual and hearing range were less than 1 meter. You might just walk right into a zombie's mouth. The only saving grace was that the zombies, too, were deprived of their senses by the thick fog. Therefore, as long as you stay in a closed room, you can guarantee your safety. The prerequisite is that you have enough food to ensure you don't starve to death. In my previous life, there were many people who, although not affected by the fog, were forced to go out due to lack of food and eventually died. Lin Xiao survived only because Fatty loved snacks and had stockpiled a lot of them in the dorm. But this life is different. Lin Xiao walked into the supermarket. The supermarket was somewhat deserted at this time. After all, that sacred moment is almost here. Countless men had already prepared everything, just waiting to display their romance that night before starting to, well, you know. As for single people, they're even less likely to go out at this time. They're probably all hiding in their dorms, glued to their phones, feeling emo online. When dense fog descends, all communication signals will be temporarily blocked. Fortunately, there will be no water or power outages in the short term. As a food enthusiast, Fatty secretly brought an induction cooker to his dorm room, despite the school's explicit rules against using any high-powered electrical appliances. He would often secretly cook a late-night snack by himself at night. Lin Xiao suddenly sighed inwardly. Although Xia Qiang is about to die, his roommate has really done a lot for him. Without the things he prepared, my previous self wouldn't have survived 7 days at all. Maybe there wouldn't be any such thing as rebirth. Despite his size, Lin Xiao didn't bother to remind the other person of their thoughts and started shopping in the supermarket. Since the supermarket primarily serves students, it offers a wide variety of food options. Lin Xiao barely bothered to choose. He immediately started sweeping the shelves. Instant noodles. Buy them, potato chips, I'll buy them, chili sauce, buy it, luncheon meat, buy it. Lin Xiao didn't care whether he could eat that much. He wasn't planning to leave until he had spent all of his 3,000 yuan today. As for the transportation issue, he bought so many things, the supermarket will deliver them to him. Anyway, the boys' dormitory isn't far from here. It was just that the pretty senior student who worked part-time at the supermarket was looking at him with a slightly strange gaze. The shopping only took 20 minutes, but the checkout took a full half hour. There was no way around it. He bought a lot of different things and they were heavy too. The part-time student could only scan the codes for him one by one. If Lin Xiao hadn't been there to help, it probably would have taken even longer. Fortunately, there were no other customers at this time, which allowed Lin Xiao to monopolize the only cashier, a senior student, for such a long period of time. Everything is done. The total cost was 2742 yuan. The pretty senior wiped the sweat from her forehead and looked at Lin Xiao with some resentment. This junior is quite handsome, but he seems a little slow on the uptake. Is he buying things or stocking up on goods? Given the prices at the school store, he would lose everything if he bought any stock there. Lin Xiao ignored the other person's gaze, took out his phone, and readily paid the bill. In another hour, this thing will just be a number. Even if you have a lot of cash, it's just an ordinary piece of paper. You wouldn't even want to use it to wipe your butt. Strange, why did I suddenly think about wiping my butt? Lin Xiao thought about it carefully. It turns out my stomach is acting up again. Senior, could you please deliver this for me? I'm in room 219 of building 7 in the boys' dormitory. I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'll go back and wait. Lin Xiao wasn't worried about the other party reneging on the payment. The supermarket had security cameras. Lin Xiao originally wanted to hold back a little longer, but the urge got too strong and he simply couldn't resist. Then, under the surprised gaze of the pretty senior student, he quickly ran towards the dormitory. Fortunately, the distance wasn't far. Thanks to Lin Xiao's sprint, he was already sitting on the toilet 3 minutes later. Cool. I couldn't help but shout. I turned on my phone. It was already 9:56 p.m. There's less than half an hour left until 10:22 p.m. Inside the supermarket, the pretty senior student watched Lin Xiao run away, and even she, who was usually good-tempered, couldn't help but frown. With a sigh, she began loading the goods for Lin Xiao. The supermarket has electric tricycles specifically for delivery. We just happened to be able to load the whole truckload over there. There wasn't just the female student in the supermarket, there were also several middle-aged women. However, when there are fewer people, they usually hide inside chatting, and bullying younger girls is what they are best at. Aunt Zhang, someone needs to deliver something, could you go over there? After finally finishing packing, the senior student looked at the several middle-aged women still chatting animatedly inside and could only helplessly call out. Who is this person, delivering goods so late at night? What were they doing all this time? Upon hearing the senior's voice, the middle-aged women inside finally stopped chatting and came out, grumbling and cursing. It was clear that they were quite unhappy that someone had interrupted their conversation. When she saw the neatly arranged goods on the cart in front of the store, the woman called Aunt Zhang became even angrier. This delivery requires help with carrying. If you live on a high floor, how long will it take to move all this stuff? Aunt Zhang's eyes darted around and she suddenly turned to look at the senior student and said, Yao, it's so late, why don't you go deliver it? Auntie will help you with the cash register. Yao is the senior's name, her full name is Yao Xin. Okay, Yao Xin was already mentally prepared for what Aunt Zhang would say. There was no other way, her family was struggling financially, and she could only rely on this part-time job to supplement their income. This Aunt Zhang is a relative of the supermarket owner, and Yao Xin doesn't want to offend her. Yao Xin delivered the items to the boys' dormitory. First, he went and knocked on the door of room 219 himself. Confirm if Lin Xiao is here. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if it were delivered to the wrong address. Lin Xiao had just come out of the restroom after relieving himself. Hearing the knock, I guessed it was a delivery from the supermarket and quickly ran to open the door. Upon seeing Yao Xin, Lin Xiao's expression clearly showed some surprise. He had ordered things and had them delivered before, but it was usually by two middle-aged women. After all, this is a boys' dormitory, so it's a bit inconvenient for a young girl to come in. But it's strange, really. If a boy tries to enter the girls' dormitory, he'll probably get his legs broken and be thrown out by the dormitory supervisor. But when girls enter the boys' dormitory, all they need to do is smile at the old man at the door, and he'll just let them in as if he didn't see them. Seeing that Yao Xin was alone, Lin Xiao wanted to finish moving quickly, so he followed her downstairs. I bought quite a lot of things this time. Fortunately, there aren't many people in the dorm right now, and not many people saw it. Otherwise, such a large quantity of goods, coupled with such a beautiful senior student, would definitely cause quite a stir. I love watching the excitement. Not to mention the single folks who haven't had a date yet at this hour. Although Lin Xiao's dormitory was only on the second floor, carrying everything up one by one was still a very physically demanding task. Moreover, Yao Xin is a girl, and the two of them even rested for a few minutes halfway through to take care of her stamina. Of course, Lin Xiao wouldn't say that he actually couldn't move it himself, but for the sake of survival. After resting for 5 minutes, Lin Xiao picked it up again. By the time Yao Xin brought the last piece of 8 treasure porridge into the dormitory, Lin Xiao's dormitory was almost overflowing. Half of the dormitory was already piled up with all sorts of supplies. Although Yao Xin didn't understand Lin Xiao's actions, she didn't ask any further questions. What if they just have money and buy it for fun? At university, she had seen plenty of wealthy kids flaunting their riches. Perhaps this is just another way of showing off wealth. Wiping away her sweat, Yao Xin prepared to leave. I just came out to deliver some goods and the supermarket was about to close up shop. Lin Xiao, who had been busy the whole time, finally had time to take out his phone. The moment he turned on the screen, the time was 10:22 p.m. A thick fog has arrived. As soon as the appointed time arrived, this eerie fog appeared precisely on schedule, even covering every corner of the globe. They didn't even spare Lin Xiao's small dormitory. As the mist appeared, the senior student suddenly stopped in her tracks. Being enveloped by the fog, regardless of the final outcome, is a normal reaction. Lin Xiao, although he had experienced it once before, also experienced a brief period of sluggishness when the mist invaded his body. Then a deafening scream suddenly erupted outside the dormitory, sounding particularly jarring in the quiet campus. Moreover, it was already past midnight, which made the pretty senior student shudder involuntarily, feeling a little creeped out. But this is just the beginning. Soon, screams rose and fell as if there were a competition, and they rang out continuously. Interspersed among them were a few cries for help. Even Yao Xin, who always prided herself on her courage, was completely panicked at this moment. What happened at school? Why are these people screaming so pitifully? What happened? Regardless, Yao Xin was just a girl. Faced with the unknown and fear, she subconsciously took 2 steps toward Lin Xiao and then asked. Lin Xiao shook his head. He certainly knew what was going on, but he definitely couldn't say. But as time went on, the white fog gradually thickened. Even the dormitories where Lin Xiao had closed all the windows beforehand are gradually becoming more crowded. However, this was within Lin Xiao's expectations. Even in a tightly closed room, the white mist will still seep in, but in smaller amounts and at a slower rate. As the white mist slowly seeped in, Lin Xiao's eyes remained fixed on Yao Xin, while his right hand quietly grasped the fruit knife on the table. If the other party shows even the slightest sign of something amiss, Lin Xiao will act without hesitation. What's this? Although Yao Xin had already noticed the increase in the white mist, as she spoke, a large amount of white mist was once again brought into her body by her breath. Lin Xiao's body began to tense up. 5 seconds passed, and Yao Xin remained unchanged. Lin Xiao relaxed a little but didn't put down the fruit knife in his hand. At this moment, Yao Xin also noticed the fruit knife in Lin Xiao's hand, and a look of fear appeared on her face. 5 more seconds passed. Lin Xiao felt a familiar sensation. His eyes began to burn and itch. He knew that his eyes were beginning to change. Yao Xin, however, just stared at him in terror. Lin Xiao felt relieved. If it hasn't turned into a zombie after all this time, then there's definitely no problem. Putting down the fruit knife, Lin Xiao ignored the stinging in his eyes and quickly took a few steps forward. Yao Xin was startled by Lin Xiao's actions and hurriedly dodged away. But the dormitory is only so big, there's nowhere to escape. Lin Xiao had already moved closer, and just as Yao Xin was preparing to fight back desperately, Lin Xiao simply walked past her. Bang! The dormitory door was locked shut. What are you going to do? Seeing Lin Xiao close the door, Yao Xin became even more panicked. Don't shout, there's a huge problem outside. If we don't close the door, we'll all die. Lin Xiao glared fiercely at Yao Xin. This is the initial stage of the white fog formation. At this time, you must not make any noise, because the isolating effect of the white fog has not yet fully manifested. If there are any classmates who have turned into zombies nearby, they are very likely to be attracted by their commotion. After 10 minutes, the white mist had fully formed. As long as they don't open the door or go out, the dormitory is absolutely safe. As for Yao Xin, Lin Xiao also had a headache. Although Lin Xiao learned a lot about post-apocalyptic survival rules during his 3 months in the apocalypse, and even suffered a betrayal, the time was still relatively short. Let him directly kill a female senior who poses no threat to him and is even quite pretty. Lin Xiao was somewhat hesitant to do it. If the other person were Chen Feifei, Lin Xiao wouldn't hesitate at all. Perhaps frightened by Lin Xiao's expression, Yao Xin actually shut her mouth and didn't make a sound. At that moment, screams and cries for help rang out again on campus. This time, it was even more intense than before, and it involved both men and women. Yao Xin even clearly heard the same screams coming from the dormitory building right downstairs from them. This made her even more hesitant to make any rash moves, and she could only tightly cover her mouth with her hand. 10 minutes later, the screaming stopped completely. But Lin Xiao knew that not hearing it didn't mean it didn't exist. It only proved that the fog had completely taken shape. This also signifies that the end times have arrived. Just to be on the safe side, Lin Xiao waited another 2 minutes. After confirming that he could not hear any sound, he finally let out a long sigh of relief and plopped down on the ground. Although he had experienced it once before, he was still nervous when he went through it again. Seeing Lin Xiao's actions, Yao Xin knew that she was safe for the time being. Even now, she still doesn't know what's happening outside, but she knew that this junior student in front of her definitely knew something. What exactly happened? Yao Xin's voice trembled slightly. The agonizing screams that had just pierced her soul still sent chills down her spine whenever she thought about them. If I told you the end times are coming, would you believe me? Lin Xiao pulled out half a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, intending to light one to calm his nerves. But upon seeing Yao Xin in front of him, he put the cigarette away. The end of the world. Yao Xin wanted to say she didn't believe it, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. The things that had just happened, including the sudden appearance of the white mist, made her believe that what the man in front of her was probably true. But how did he know? Although Yao Xin was puzzled, she didn't ask. If what this man said is true, then whether I can survive depends on him. There's no need to delve into these meaningless things at this point. The two fell silent again. A few minutes later, Lin Xiao suddenly asked curiously, "Have you noticed anything unusual about your body?" He needed to confirm whether Yao Xin was an ordinary person or a mutant. Abnormal? No. Yao Xin shook her head blankly. A barely perceptible hint of disappointment flashed across Lin Xiao's face. Having finally found a companion, he naturally hoped that the other person would be even stronger. At least it can provide him with some help. At this moment, Lin Xiao thought of another woman, Chen Feifei. This woman possesses a level superpowers. If I don't deal with her soon and things drag on, I won't be a match for Chen Feifei at all. Ultimately, he himself is just a useless E-level superpower. If I don't make good use of the advantage of being reborn, I'll probably still die eventually. Just as Lin Xiao was still pondering, Yao Xin in front of him suddenly let out a seductive moan. Lin Xiao instantly snapped out of his thoughts and looked at the beautiful senior in front of him. Another pleasant panting sound made Lin Xiao eager to try it out. Fortunately, Lin Xiao, who had lived in the apocalypse for 3 months, still had a strong will. There are too many traps in the apocalypse. If you can't resist these temptations, you won't survive even a week after the fog clears. If a virile young man overflowing with hormones were to come here at this moment, it would be quite difficult for him to resist. After all, Lin Xiao knew that the world had officially entered the apocalyptic era, and no one would know what he did. Even if they found out, no one would bother. If you can't even control yourself, how can you have the energy to control others? But why did my senior suddenly start tempting me? Just as Lin Xiao was about to ask a question, Yao Xin's expression on the other end of the line grew increasingly strange. It feels a little uncomfortable, but also a little comfortable. When these two different emotions appeared simultaneously on her delicate face, it had an extremely strong impact on Lin Xiao. However, Lin Xiao immediately realized that this was an anomaly. Later research showed that the level of mutation was closely related to time. Just like Lin Xiao, whose mutation was at the lowest level, it had already begun the moment he came into contact with the mist. It is said that Chen Feifei's transformation occurred about 10 minutes after she came into contact with the dense fog. And Yao Xin was right in front of him. Lin Xiao took out his phone. It was already 10:41. In other words, 19 minutes have passed since the fog descended. Does that mean Yao Xin's transformation is even more powerful than Chen Feifei's? However, Lin Xiao was puzzled. Why hadn't he heard her name in his previous life? If it truly possessed a mutation ability even more powerful than Chen Feifei's, it wouldn't have remained unknown. Lin Xiao thought about it again. It's estimated that Yao Xin didn't even survive the initial stage in her previous life. If it weren't for Lin Xiao, she would have been in the supermarket at 10:22. She wasn't the only one in the supermarket. There were several other middle-aged women there as well. As expected, those middle-aged women should have turned into zombies immediately, while Yao Xin, due to her overly powerful abilities, was killed before anything even began. After clearing his mind, Lin Xiao suppressed his inner joy. Having such a powerful teammate was a huge surprise for Lin Xiao. Now we can only wait quietly to see what kind of mutated ability Yao Xin possesses. Yao Xin, on the other side, had fallen into a daze, uttering a series of breathtaking sounds. This made Lin Xiao, a virgin who had never been near a woman, unable to resist, and his face flushed red. About 10 minutes later, Yao Xin finally stopped radiating her charm, and Lin Xiao was finally free. But for some reason, Yao Xin didn't open her eyes for a long time. Lin Xiao didn't know if such a powerful ability had any other special features, so he didn't dare to make a sound and disturb her, but kept his eyes fixed on Yao Xin's pretty face. That junior is so annoying, he keeps staring at me. But I just made such embarrassing noises and he heard it all. How can I open my eyes? Yao Xin was on the verge of a breakdown. She was actually fully conscious the whole time, but the intense, tingling sensation deep within her soul made her completely unable to control herself. Those shy, coquettish voices surprised even herself. Did you post all of this yourself? Therefore, even after things returned to normal, Yao Xin didn't dare to open her eyes. But to his surprise, this junior kept staring at him. Although she didn't open her eyes, she could feel Lin Xiao's burning gaze. Could he have feelings for me? Yao Xin was at a loss, unsure whether to open her eyes or not, and instinctively twisted her two little hands together. Ahem, senior, open your eyes if you're ready. Lin Xiao wasn't blind, so he naturally noticed Yao Xin's little gesture and realized that his senior was shy. Upon hearing Lin Xiao's voice, Yao Xin slowly opened her eyes. They've already been exposed. It would be even worse to keep quiet. Yao Xin had imagined many of Lin Xiao's next moves, but Lin Xiao only glanced at her indifferently before asking directly. Senior, do you know what kind of superpower you just awakened? Superpowers? Yao Xin looked at Lin Xiao with a blank expression. She had no idea what superpowers were. You must know how you felt just now. Lin Xiao stared speechlessly at the dazed senior. If she weren't possibly a top-tier superpower user, Lin Xiao probably would have cursed her out. Yao Xin stammered, how could I possibly say that? Where did you feel that strange sensation just now? Lin Xiao probably realized there was something wrong with his question, so he changed his approach. I felt something strange just welling up in my head. It hurt a little at first, but then it got more and more comfortable. Besides my head, several other parts of my body also felt sore and itchy, but I didn't notice it at the time. Yao Xin's voice grew softer and softer, probably because she remembered the sound she had just made. Upon hearing her words, Lin Xiao looked at her with shining eyes. This is a treasure. Psychic abilities are mostly classified as Grade A, with only a very few less useful ones being relegated to Grade B. Judging from Yao Xin's recent performance, she's definitely at least A-level and might even be more impressive. Looking at Lin Xiao's sudden excitement, Yao Xin blinked her big eyes. He's so strange. He gets excited just hearing that he has a headache. Lin Xiao doesn't know exactly what special ability Yao Xin has awakened. He can only wait for Yao Xin to develop it herself. This senior student used to seem quite shrewd, but now she's acting all silly. However, Lin Xiao wasn't in a hurry. She still had time to figure it out. For at least the 7 days before the fog dissipated, they were both absolutely safe. Lin Xiao, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, immediately felt the hunger in his stomach. I was already exhausted from carrying so much stuff upstairs. Later, he remained highly focused. Now that he's relaxed, all he wants is to find something to eat. Behind him was a large amount of food, and Lin Xiao immediately opened a bottle of 8 treasure porridge. Seeing Lin Xiao eat, Yao Xin also felt hungry. She not only did the same amount of things as Lin Xiao, but she was also even more panicked. Seeing that Lin Xiao didn't intend to do anything to her, she relaxed as well. This junior seems like a good person. Yao Xin was thinking to herself when she saw Lin Xiao wolfing down his 8 treasure porridge. She couldn't help but stick out her little tongue and lick her lips. The little girl also covered her stomach with her hands. At first, she didn't think much of it, but after seeing someone enjoying their meal in front of her, Yao Xin couldn't resist anymore. Come and get whatever you want to eat. Lin Xiao also noticed Yao Xin's expression. His eyes had already undergone a strange change. At such close range, he couldn't possibly see the expression on Yao Xin's face. He could easily see the pores on her face. But this senior has really nice skin. Lin Xiao sighed. Hearing his words, Yao Xin still hesitated. After all, this is their food. She was indeed very hungry, especially after seeing Lin Xiao finish his 8 treasure porridge and then open a bag of spicy strips. The fragrance was enough to break down her defenses. Then, I'll pay you back later. Yao Xin just checked her phone. There's no signal. In other words, nowadays, mobile phones are only used to tell time and have no other function, so naturally they can't be used to pay for things. Lin Xiao nodded nonchalantly. Money. Once the white mist dissipates, who will care about this stuff anymore? However, if he doesn't agree, the senior student probably won't feel at ease eating. These days, older female students are very useful to Lin Xiao. Whether I can live a life of luxury from now on depends entirely on my senior. Perhaps because her family wasn't well off, even though Lin Xiao told her to take whatever she wanted, she only took a small bread roll. Lin Xiao glanced at it. This was the cheapest one he bought at the supermarket. Then she took a bottle of mineral water. These small bread rolls are hard to swallow without adding water. Lin Xiao didn't say much, letting her do as she pleased. There are still 7 days left, no rush. After we had eaten and drunk our fill, it was already past 11 o'clock. It was deathly silent outside, not a sound could be heard at all. Yao Xin really wanted to go out and see what had happened, but the memory of the screams from before made her give up the idea. What happened tonight was truly terrifying. Yao Xin was only half convinced by Lin Xiao's talk of the apocalypse. But the lack of cell phone signal and everything that had just happened in her mind made her believe what Lin Xiao said. This is my bed, you can choose any of the other 3. The dormitory rooms are for 4 people. However, on this special day, apart from Lin Xiao and Zia Qiang, the other 2 students in the dormitory who have girlfriends had already booked rooms well in advance. I just don't know what their situation is now. Hearing Lin Xiao say this, Yao Xin felt much more at ease. There are only the 2 of them here now, and if Lin Xiao wants to do something, Yao Xin seems to have no way to resist. Although the 2 are still sharing a dorm room, at least the other has not behaved any problematically from the beginning until now. Yao Xin had no other choice but to sleep there for the time being. The lack of cell phone signal made it impossible for her to muster the courage to go out. I'm going to take a shower first. If you want a shower too, you can do it yourself later. Lin Xiao didn't care what Yao Xin thought. For him, this situation is already the best it can be. After all, he was given 2 hours after being reborn. As for what to do next, Lin Xiao decided to wait until he woke up. I was covered in sweat, and it was really uncomfortable if I didn't take a shower. Lin Xiao took out a few pieces of clothing from his closet and then went into the bathroom. Yao Xin sat down on the bed furthest from Lin Xiao. She really wanted to take a shower, but she had no clothes to change into. We can't exactly let her be naked in front of Lin Xiao. At that moment, Lin Xiao's singing could be heard coming from the restroom. He seemed to be in a pretty good mood. Why is this junior student so calm when such a bizarre thing has happened? He even showed a hint of joy. Yao Xin was completely baffled. And he had suddenly bought so much food before this. Yao Xin suspected that this junior seemed to know something she didn't. In fact, he knew things that no one else did. There's a saying. If a man takes a shower for more than 5 minutes, he is definitely doing something indecent. Lin Xiao, however, is clearly not that kind of person. 5 minutes later, Lin Xiao, while drying himself with a bath towel, pushed open the door and came out. Ah! Screams erupted. Lin Xiao then remembered that there was a woman in his dormitory. You're making a fuss over nothing. There are so many shirtless guys playing basketball on the court. When they see you girls, they'll probably say you're so cool. Despite saying that, Lin Xiao still quickly put on his coat. Although it is winter, the thick fog seems to have kept out the cold. The temperature in the dormitory was just right, neither too hot nor too cold. Do you want to take a shower? Lin Xiao suddenly asked Yao Xin. Yao Xin was very interested, but she didn't have any clean clothes or a bath towel. Lin Xiao guessed Yao Xin's embarrassment and rummaged through the wardrobe for a long time. I've never worn this. And this one, it's also newly bought. A set of clothes and a towel were accurately tossed into Yao Xin's hands. Yao Xin looked down and saw it was a summer outfit. Lin Xiao's official height is 179 cm, but she always claims to be 180 cm. However, in the South, this height is already considered quite good. Yao Xin's figure also perfectly embodies the gentle and graceful nature of a southern girl. She is 163 cm tall and weighs 90 kgs. She is curvy in the right places and slim in the right places. If Lin Xiao's clothes were given to her, they could probably be used as a dress. Given the circumstances, Lin Xiao didn't say anything more. Let her do as she pleases. If she were willing to never shower, Lin Xiao wouldn't mind. In boys' dorms, there's always that one guy who doesn't like to shower. We're used to it. After giving him the clothes, Lin Xiao climbed directly into bed. Although there were lights in the dormitory, the surroundings were eerily quiet. I don't have a phone to play with, and I don't know what to do if I don't sleep. Moreover, it's getting late. So much has happened in just a few hours today, and Lin Xiao needs to sort things out properly. All told, less than 4 hours have passed since I was reborn. Yao Xin bit her lip, her heart filled with conflict. Not showering is simply unbearable for a clean girl like her, and you just sweated so much. Looking up at Lin Xiao lying down, Yao Xin finally made her decision. Holding the clothes and towel Lin Xiao handed her, Yao Xin quietly walked into the bathroom. Lin Xiao pretended not to see it and continued to think about his own things. Immediately, the sound of running water came from the toilet. The thought of a beautiful woman taking a shower next door suddenly made Lin Xiao excited again. After silently reciting the Tao Te Ching several times, Lin Xiao decided to get out of bed and grab a drink to calm his nerves. As someone who's never been in a relationship, when have I ever experienced anything like this? Looking at the dazzling array of drinks in front of him, Lin Xiao naturally chose Wangleaji, the most effective drink for cooling down the body. Lin Xiao lifted the lid, took a big gulp, and finally felt much better. Lin Xiao took another bite, intending to extinguish the flame completely. Just then the toilet door opened. Yao Xin, dressed in Lin Xiao's clothes, came out from inside. The two came face to face. Lin Xiao remained with the Wangleaji herbal tea in his hand, his head slightly tilted back, ready to drink. But her eyes were already involuntarily drawn towards the toilet door. Having just taken a shower, Yao Xin exuded a pure and elegant charm, leaving Lin Xiao speechless. The ill-fitting clothes she wore only added to her charm. Gulp. Lin Xiao swallowed hard. Perhaps realizing the awkwardness of the situation, Lin Xiao hurriedly gulped down the Wangleaji herbal tea from the bottle. Cough, cough, cough. In his haste, Lin Xiao choked and coughed several times. It's getting late, I'm going to bed now. After awkwardly saying something to Yao Xin, Lin Xiao quickly climbed into his bed. My heart is still pounding, beating really fast. Well, I only have myself to blame for living too comfortably. Thinking back to my previous life, I was constantly facing life-or-death crises. I had no time to look at these beautiful women, let alone thinking about all that other nonsense. He remembered that when he saw Chen Feifei in the apocalypse, she didn't seem as stunning as she is now. That night, in the same dormitory, 2 beds diagonally opposite each other, 2 people tossing and turning, unable to sleep. In just a few hours, so much seemed to have happened in the world, so fast that Yao Xin didn't even have time to think. She had no idea what was happening outside, or whether it was safe for her to sleep there. Although Lin Xiao's reaction just now made Yao Xin lower most of her guard, but this was still the first time she had ever been alone in a room with a man. Yao Xin didn't have time to figure out what the strange energy in her mind was. Under the influence of various emotions, Yao Xin finally fell into a deep sleep. Go to sleep. Maybe everything will be all right after a good night's sleep. Early the next morning. For contemporary college students, sleeping in late is one of the essential skills. However, neither of the two people in the dormitory had this skill. In the 3 months since the apocalypse, Lin Xiao hasn't had a good night's sleep, let alone a full night's rest. Yao Xin, on the other hand, has a strong biological clock that makes her get up at around 6 a.m. every day because she has to go to the cafeteria for a part-time job in the morning. Lin Xiao, who had just opened his eyes, was still somewhat dazed. After a few seconds of stunned silence, he suddenly sat up. I have truly been reborn. What happened yesterday was not a dream. Turning his head, Lin Xiao saw Yao Xin, who was still sleeping diagonally across from him. It all felt so real. Although he tried to be careful, Yao Xin still opened her eyes when Lin Xiao got out of bed. Like Lin Xiao, she looked completely bewildered when she opened her eyes. I'm a little confused as to why I woke up here. Then memories flooded back, and Yao Xin remembered everything that had happened yesterday. When she sat up, Lin Xiao was standing by the window looking outside with a strange expression. But his inner thoughts were even more complex than his outward expression. Lin Xiao had possessed his mutated eyes for 3 months. Over the course of 3 months, he had long since become accustomed to the function of these eyes and could control them freely. It's simply about seeing further, seeing more clearly, and understanding more thoroughly. It's really just a little bit. You can't see it if you wear another layer of clothing. But now, Lin Xiao looked out the window. Everything was a vast expanse of white. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. But when he subconsciously activated his eye-mutated ability, the white mist in front of him seemed to disappear. He saw it very clearly. Right downstairs in the dormitory building, 2 zombies were wandering aimlessly. Further away, Lin Xiao could also see another zombie that had been corrupted inside the dormitory across the street. Because the dormitory door was closed, its intelligence was insufficient to allow it to come out. Your own eyes. Lin Xiao felt a surge of joy. In his previous life, he didn't have the ability to see through the white mist. In the fog, he was just like everyone else, blind. But now, a bold idea suddenly came to Lin Xiao's mind. At present, because of the white mist, everyone and every zombie is blind and deaf. And I am the only one who can walk freely. The implications of this are self-evident. 7 days. For those 7 days he was God, countless supplies, and even mutated crystals. The mutated crystal is what appears inside the brains of the 2 zombies downstairs from Lin Xiao. After being invaded by a special substance in the mist, these zombies, which turn into zombies, will have an energy crystal appear inside their heads. Later generations called this a mutant crystal. These mutated crystals aren't very useful to ordinary people, but they are crucial for mutants. With it, mutants can continuously upgrade. Just like Lin Xiao now, although his eyes have changed, his body is no different from that of an ordinary person. After consuming the mutated crystal, he can obtain energy from it and thus level up, become a first-order mutant. At this point, his strength will undergo a dramatic change. It can even take on 10 ordinary adults at once. Even those mutated zombies wouldn't be a match for him. However, powerful mutants will emerge among humans, and some formidable figures will also appear among the zombies. But it's still early. The white mist has only been there a short time. Such powerful zombies are unlikely to appear yet. In his previous life, the most powerful zombie Lin Xiao had ever encountered was one that had undergone 3 mutations. Although he seems foolish, his physical strength is extremely high. Even bullets can only cause harm if they hit a vital spot in the head. It left a very deep impression on Lin Xiao, and the thought of it still terrified him. What are you looking at? A pleasant voice pulled Lin Xiao back from his memories. Yao Xin, dressed in Lin Xiao's clothes, had already arrived at the window. Seeing Lin Xiao staring out the window, she also looked over curiously. But all I could see was a white blur. I couldn't make out anything. How can there be such a thick fog? In Changsha, there is indeed fog on winter mornings, sometimes quite thick. However, it is extremely rare for something to directly blind you like what happened now. At least Yao Xin had never seen it before. When will this thick fog finally clear up? Yao Xin said worriedly. Since she couldn't see outside, she had no idea what was happening outside. Moreover, she had already checked her phone when she got out of bed, but there was still no signal. 1 week later. Lin Xiao answered casually. He wasn't afraid of Yao Xin's speculations. A week. Yao Xin immediately shouted out, "Does Lin Xiao mean that she wants to stay here with him for a week?" This caught her somewhat off guard. I thought this would be over after last night. Little did they know, this was just the beginning. Yao Xin suddenly remembered what Lin Xiao had said about the apocalypse last night. Can you tell me what the end of the world means? Lin Xiao turned around and left the window. There are some things that really need to be clarified. The end times I'm referring to are exactly what they say and what you understand it to mean. From the moment the fog appears, the vast majority of humanity worldwide will be transformed by its corrosive influence, becoming mindless monsters driven only by instinct to kill. We call them zombies. Zombies possess combat abilities far exceeding those of ordinary humans, and they are extremely resilient. They simply won't die unless their heads are smashed. Even more frightening is that after the unknown substance enters their bodies, it undergoes a secondary mutation and remains within them. And this substance is called corpse poison. If you are infected by the corpse poison, even if you are a mutant, you will still die. Yao Xin was originally sitting on the bed opposite Lin Xiao, but as Lin Xiao spoke, she nervously hugged her legs tightly. He practically buried his head in it. This is terrifying. In her entire life, Yao Xin only ever watched one zombie movie thanks to the encouragement of her roommates. After reading it, she couldn't sleep for several days. That thing was absolutely terrifying. But now scenes from the movie have actually appeared in real life. How could Yao Xin not be terrified? Looking at Lin Xiao in front of her, Yao Xin realized that she had no choice but to trust this junior. After all, the screams and cries for help from last night were still echoing in her mind. The fog will dissipate in 7 days, and in the meantime, you can just stay in your dorm. There's food and lodging here. The only problem is that the place is a bit small. Upon hearing Lin Xiao's words, Yao Xin suddenly stood up, trembling as she looked at Lin Xiao in front of her. Where are you going? It has to be said, girls are all detail-oriented. Lin Xiao really just said it subconsciously, telling her to stay in the dormitory. She immediately realized that Lin Xiao was going to leave. But didn't he just say it's dangerous outside? And with such thick fog, where could he possibly go? Is it because you feel you're a burden, so you're making excuses to get rid of yourself? I'm going out to take a look around and see if I can bring anything back. Food. Of course, the more the better. Lin Xiao already knew that his eyes seemed to have evolved, allowing him to see through the white mist outside. He certainly couldn't let such a good opportunity slip by. For those 7 days, the whole world was his personal celebration. But didn't you say it's dangerous outside? Yao Xin's voice trembled slightly. The things Lin Xiao had just described had truly frightened her. Given the conditions outside, this junior student still wants to go out. That's incredibly audacious. I have my own way of doing things, don't worry. Lin Xiao didn't say anything more but started packing her things. Since we're going out, we definitely need to make some preparations. To walk out empty-handed like that is simply foolish. A fruit knife is a must-have. It will at least boost my fighting ability. If he finds a better weapon outside, he can simply switch to it. In addition, he prepared a travel backpack. They put some more food in there, just enough to keep him from starving to death today. Once everything was ready, Lin Xiao walked towards the door. Yao Xin watched his every move, but her trembling body betrayed her nervousness. Oh, right. As he reached the door, Lin Xiao suddenly turned around and said, during your time in the dorm, carefully study the energy that appears in your mind and also adapt to the changes in your body. These are the keys to our survival from now on. Yao Xin blushed for no apparent reason. A woman's mind is truly impossible to fathom. At this moment, she was actually thinking about this kind of question. Fortunately, Lin Xiao didn't know. Okay, I will study it carefully. Yao Xin nodded, her tone very certain. Lin Xiao waved to her and opened the door. The moment the door opened, a considerable amount of fog seeped in, but it doesn't matter. Both of them have already undergone mutation, so this fog will no longer cause them any harm. Snap! The door was tightly shut. Lin Xiao looked at the empty corridor and walked towards the dormitory entrance without hesitation. The stairs remained empty. The same applies to the corridor on the first floor. It seems that quite a few boys from the male dormitory went out to spend the night yesterday. It's Friday after all, there's no school tomorrow, Saturday. The old guard at the dormitory entrance had disappeared by then. As expected, the old man has turned into a zombie, but no one knows where he wandered off to. It's better that they left. At least Lin Xiao doesn't have to fight zombies right now. Although the other party couldn't see or hear, Lin Xiao also only had a short fruit knife. By the time he could attack his opponent, he was practically already in their arms. Unless he's truly blind, he can still see him. As Lin Xiao stepped out of the dormitory building, he immediately saw a number of zombies wandering aimlessly around the school. Don't be fooled by their current dawdling. If you think all zombies are like this, you're sorely mistaken. Once they regain their sight and hearing, you'll know what cruelty truly means. Even a former world champion in the 100 meters probably couldn't outrun an old zombie. I forgot to ask Yao Xin which dormitory building does Chen Feifei live in. They're all girls, they should know that. Lin Xiao suddenly remembered something, but going back now seems a bit inappropriate. Did I make a special trip back just to ask about the school beauty's dorm? Is this an attempt to take advantage of someone's vulnerability? Lin Xiao had already imagined what Yao Xin might think. The good impression you have of someone might just disappear. That won't do. Now that Lin Xiao knows about Yao Xin's special circumstances, he's thinking about building a good relationship with her. A superpower user with an A-level rating or higher can unleash unimaginable power later on, provided they don't die at the start. As for Chen Feifei, there's no need to rush. She still has 7 days. Improving her own strength is the right thing to do. After leaving the dormitory building, Lin Xiao decided to find a suitable weapon first. This fruit knife makes me feel so unsafe. It should at least be a bit longer so that Lin Xiao will have the confidence to fight the zombies. Why not take advantage of the zombies being deaf and blind now to collect more mutation crystals to upgrade yourself? Once the fog clears, I'll be back to square one, becoming that weakling with E-level superpowers. However, he hasn't thought about one question yet. Now that his eyes can see through the fog, has his superpower changed from his previous life? He's no longer that weak E-level superpower user. However, this didn't seem to affect his current actions. Lin Xiao's first stop was the school cafeteria. Unsurprisingly, there will definitely be better weapons there. And it was past 10 p.m., the cafeteria had already closed, so there was definitely no one there and it was perfectly safe. Lin Xiao followed the familiar route to the second canteen, which was closest to the boys' dormitory. Along the way, he encountered quite a few zombies, but he managed to escape unscathed each time. Bullying a group of blind people was quite easy for Lin Xiao. Just as Lin Xiao had predicted, there were no zombies or humans in the cafeteria. He went straight to the very back of the cafeteria, which was the kitchen area. The door was locked, which put him in a bit of a predicament. It seemed that my small fruit knife was not enough to deal with this large lock. Rather than waste time here, Lin Xiao finally decided to give up. Weapons, well, we'll find them eventually. Besides, there's plenty of time, there's no need to waste energy here. If there are only 2 kitchen knives inside, then they're not much better than fruit knives. If the zombies weren't so heavily armored, making it difficult to kill them with a stick, Lin Xiao wouldn't have bothered using a knife at all. Wouldn't it be safer to just find a long steel pipe? After leaving the school cafeteria, Lin Xiao continued to wander around the campus. Besides searching for weapons, he also wanted to observe what was happening at the school. Although a large number of students went out to book hotel rooms last night, quite a few also stayed on campus. At least for now, Lin Xiao has already encountered hundreds of zombies on his way. Furthermore, even more zombies are hiding in one of the dormitories. The moment the fog dissipates, these zombies trapped inside the dormitories will become the greatest threat to the survivors. Because you never know which door a zombie might suddenly jump out of. With this in mind, Lin Xiao decided that once he was a little stronger, he would definitely clean up the area around his dormitory just in case. Right in front of me is a girls' dormitory. Lin Xiao thought for a moment, then walked to the side of the dormitory. From here, he can see what's inside the dormitory through the window. Although Lin Xiao couldn't see the higher floors due to the angle, he could still see the 3 floors below without any problem. In the girls' dormitories, many rooms are completely empty. It's clear that as long as they're not picky eaters, they can always find companions more easily than the boys on these special days. In the few dorm rooms where there was movement, Lin Xiao didn't see a single living person. They've all turned into zombies. Lin Xiao gave up the idea of continuing to observe. Although danger lurks everywhere now based on her experience from her previous life, Chen Feifei is confident she can survive this round. I'm confident I can settle this score myself. Soon, Lin Xiao had already toured the entire East Campus. Continuing down this path would be pointless for Lin Xiao. What he urgently needs now is to find a way to kill the zombies while ensuring his own safety. However, after walking for so long, he still hadn't found a suitable tool. Either it's too short or it's not sharp enough. Faced with such an extremely dangerous creature as a zombie, Lin Xiao dared not make any rash moves. In his previous life, he stayed in his dormitory until the fog cleared. He considered leaving at one point, but the pitch-black environment made him feel even more insecure. I just kept thinking, it'll be fine once the fog clears. In the end, he survived until the fog lifted by relying on the fat man's snacks, but ended up in an even more passive position. If it weren't for a few guys in the dorm who rushed out eagerly and lured the zombies away, things would have been much better. It's estimated that Lin Xiao won't survive. Shaking his head, Lin Xiao shook away these unpleasant memories. Just then, he suddenly saw the car parked to the side. Lin Xiao's family was relatively well off. During the summer after her senior year exams, her parents sent her to take her driving test. However, I've never driven it since I took the test. But Lin Xiao's mind raced. If I could find a car that I could drive, wouldn't all these problems be solved? But the important question is, where is Lin Xiao going to find a drivable car? The solution to the zombies has been found. Now the next step is to figure out how to get the car. Lin Xiao estimated that the only way to get a drivable car was outside the school. It was the middle of the night, and the cars parked at the school mostly belonged to teachers. They definitely weren't planning on leaving. The chances of finding the key are very small. Outside on the streets, around 10 a.m. is peak time for taxis. There must be plenty of taxis on the road. The opportunities are definitely much greater than in school. With that thought in mind, Lin Xiao headed straight for the school gate. On the way, he also ran into several acquaintances. But now the other side has already turned into a humanoid monster. Its lifeless eyes, expressionless face, and strange gait all exuded fear. However, this meant nothing to Lin Xiao. He even had the mind to observe the appearance of these zombies. He'd seen far too much cruelty. This was nothing compared to what he'd witnessed. Once the fog clears, you'll see the zombies that were transformed from the ordinary humans who were devoured. That appearance alone could scare 10 Yao Xins to tears. Soon, Lin Xiao arrived at the school gate. Then he spotted a man. Lin Xiao stopped and looked at the other person with great interest. They're really fearless, daring to go out in this weather. However, this situation was not uncommon on the first day. Many brave people, lacking sufficient supplies at home, had no choice but to go out. But most of these people are gone, putting aside the question of how they'll find food in this thick fog. Take the zombies that roam around, for example. If you encounter even one, it's like being delivered to your death. The man in front of me is quite alert. It was probably because the surroundings were so quiet that he walked even more cautiously. It crouched down as much as it could, almost crawling on the ground. Even so, he still frequently encountered obstacles and had to use his hands to feel his way around them. Perhaps it was because he was lucky, but somehow he managed to sneak to the school gate. However, his good luck ended there. The two security guards at the school gate, now zombies, were wandering around the man. It's getting closer. One of the zombies was less than 3 meters away from the man. Even so, neither side knew of the other's existence. Lin Xiao simply watched coldly without making any move. The next second, the two met. At such close range, the man finally saw the other person. Although the other person's face looked somewhat abnormal, the man didn't notice it at first and was even happy to see someone. But before his smile could fade, his neck was already being bitten. His face instantly turned to terror and he struggled incessantly, but all of this was in vain. Lin Xiao lost interest in watching any longer. Taking advantage of the moment when the zombie and the man were having intimate contact, Lin Xiao walked out of the school gate. Stepping out of the school, the once bustling food street in front of the school gate was still lively, but they all turned into strange shapes. Everyone here, without exception, has turned into a zombie. Of course, some of them were not affected by the mysterious substance, but given the circumstances, they had no time to escape. In the end, they were surrounded by zombies and devoured. Despite having already been mostly eaten, they inexplicably stood up again and joined the ranks of the zombies. This was exactly the even more cruel scene Lin Xiao had imagined. I glanced at her casually and saw a pretty female student whose clothes were already tattered. The stockings were torn into shreds. If that's all there is to it, it might even incite evil thoughts in some people. However, if you can still maintain this mindset when you see a large portion of her internal organs protruding, then Lin Xiao can only give you a thumbs up. He simply can't do it. Even though he had been single for over 20 years, he had never had such strange thoughts about zombies. This flavor is way too strong. Putting aside the jumbled thoughts in his mind, Lin Xiao began to take in the familiar yet unfamiliar street. Everyone knows that students' money is particularly easy to make, so both sides of this street are crowded with all kinds of shops. When the fog descended, it was peak season and the place was packed with people. As a result, there are now an unusually large number of zombies. Although a night had passed, many of the zombies had already wandered to other places. But Lin Xiao couldn't find a completely safe passage in time. No matter which way you go, it seems like you might get surrounded by zombies. But if he can't get out, he won't be able to find a car to get out. Without a vehicle, he couldn't move the mutated crystals around in large quantities, thus preventing him from leveling up ahead of everyone else. Let's give it our all. Lin Xiao gritted his teeth and decided to take the risk. Because they can neither see nor hear, the zombies' movements are now completely unpredictable. You have absolutely no other way to lure these zombies away. We have no choice but to force our way in and play it by ear. At this moment, in Lin Xiao's eyes, this street, which was only 500 meters long, had become a road to death leading to the underworld. And he was determined to make his way through that path. After stretching his body slightly, Lin Xiao put down the backpack on his back. Although there wasn't much in his backpack, it still affected his movement. As long as you can break out and find a drivable car, a backpack, and some food, it's nothing at all. At that time, all the zombies on this street will be transformed into energy for Lin Xiao's upgrade. For the first 100 meters, Lin Xiao walked relatively easily. Since it was on the street, there weren't many zombies gathered there. The real test is in the middle 300 meters. Countless zombies were piled up inside, one every 1 or 2 meters. Lin Xiao must be extremely careful if he wants to pass. To put it bluntly, it might even require the cooperation of zombies. Otherwise, if any zombie suddenly moved closer to Lin Xiao as he passed by, he would probably be discovered. If he were discovered, it would mean certain death for Lin Xiao. After taking only 2 steps, sweat had already appeared on Lin Xiao's forehead. But he dared not wipe it, nor could he make any unnecessary movements. Turn to the side, stand on tiptoe, rotate, bend over. All sorts of difficult moves appeared on Lin Xiao's body. Everything was done to escape these zombies. The most dangerous time was when there was only a person's width between 2 zombies. Lin Xiao was about to wait a little longer when the zombies behind him started walking towards him, and he had to leave immediately. Gritting his teeth, he tried to turn sideways, preparing to pass between the 2 zombies. However, at such close range, he wasn't very confident that the other person wouldn't notice him. Fortunately, this time, Lady Luck smiled upon Lin Xiao. In that instant, the 2 zombies turned around simultaneously, so that their backs were to Lin Xiao, which allowed him to escape unscathed. And ahead of them was the female classmate Lin Xiao had met before. At this moment, the other woman, her internal organs dangling, slowly walked towards Lin Xiao with her long legs, half covered in black stockings. "Senior, we have no past grudges or present animosity, so please don't go any further. If you let me out safely, I promise I'll avenge you. When the time comes, whichever zombies bite you, I'll run them over and kill them all." Lin Xiao was at a loss. There were 2 zombies right next to him who had just turned around, leaving him no room to move. Further ahead, there was this senior student who had turned into a zombie. Even behind him, a female proprietress was already walking towards him. Enemies were all around him, which made Lin Xiao ready for battle, although he is not physically strong now. But after all, he was someone who had survived 3 months in the apocalypse. In critical moments, he fought tooth and nail against zombies and ultimately survived. However, due to his special abilities, he mostly served as a scout in the team. They were used for lookout and observation and rarely participated in direct combat. Therefore, Lin Xiao's combat strength is not particularly strong. Right now, if that zombie senior takes just 2 more steps forward, she will find Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao's forehead was covered in sweat. Just then, another zombie appeared next to the senior student zombie. Moreover, the opponent is quite fast and looks very energetic. Before the zombie senior even encountered Lin Xiao, he had already crashed straight into her. Although they are of the same kind, the zombie senior is clearly not someone to be trifled with. If you get hit, you'll definitely retaliate. It happened in the blink of an eye. The zombie senior launched a direct attack into the internal organs, then swung around and pounced on the male zombie. The 2 then began to fight. Lin Xiao let out a long sigh of relief. He had no time to watch their incredibly sensual mutual kissing. He quickly seized the opportunity to slip away. After that, Lin Xiao never encountered such a situation again. The journey was fraught with danger but ultimately safe, and he was finally able to see the main road outside. The streets were also teeming with zombies. However, Lin Xiao also saw what he wanted, a car. Moreover, many of the car doors were still open, but the cars were empty. Lin Xiao didn't go straight to test drive the car. Instead, he went to a convenience store next door first. His legs were still a little weak from the journey. "If I don't drink some water and smoke a cigarette to calm my nerves first, I probably won't be able to move at all." Moreover, he also needs to rest. With so many cars, we have to test them one by one. It's no small undertaking. I just hope that some drivers will develop the habit of leaving their keys in their cars while driving. If there's absolutely no other way, then he'll have to take down a zombie driver before heading off to find his car. Lin Xiao ate a little food at the convenience store and regained some of her strength. After taking 2 deep breaths, Lin Xiao stepped out of the store. Outside the door, there were still many zombies, but after a night they had dispersed considerably. For Lin Xiao, this level of density posed absolutely no danger. In any case, the other party can't see you until they're right in front of you. It doesn't matter how loudly you make a sound. There were more cars available, so Lin Xiao naturally chose the automatic cars that needed to refuel. Although he can drive a manual transmission car, he's still a complete novice who's never been on the road before. If he crashes into a wall, that would be a real problem. Gas-powered cars generally have more horsepower than those that use natural gas or are electric. Given the zombie's physical attributes, Lin Xiao was focused on lethality. So at that moment, he completely ignored the car from that place where people were living comfortably. Nonsense. The cars in that area are notoriously fragile. You might run into a zombie and not die but instead get killed by it. Lin Xiao didn't want to take that risk. For his first car, he chose a 4-ring car. After all, it's a brand-name product, so the quality should be more guaranteed. Unfortunately, good luck wasn't on his side. After he pressed the start button, the car remained completely still. This means the keys were not inside the car. Lin Xiao could only walk down in disappointment. Fortunately, there were plenty of empty taxis nearby, giving him ample time to try them one by one. Anyway, he's the only one in the world who can move freely without any obstacles and is completely fearless. But his good luck seemed to have run out the moment he crossed that deadly 500-meter stretch of track right outside the school gate. I tried 7 or 8 cars in a row, but there was still no movement. Why do all these people like to carry their keys with them? Don't any female drivers have the habit of leaving their keys inside the car after getting in? Lin Xiao believed it definitely existed, and his recent thought had also reminded him of it. Female drivers are more likely to do this than male drivers. So Lin Xiao turned his attention to those pink and delicate cars designed exclusively for women. Unfortunately, I tried several more units, but there was still no response. By this time, he had test-driven every brand of car he recognized in the area. Lin Xiao got out of the car again and wandered around casually. He had a premonition that he was about to be disappointed. Bang! Lin Xiao slammed his fist into the car next to him. This is a pink, domestically produced miracle car, BYD. Lin Xiao had never tried any of these domestically produced miracle cars before. Just as he looked up in frustration, he saw the small car keys lying next to the driver's seat through the window. Lin Xiao felt both delighted and hesitant. To go or not to go, that is the question. Done. Lin Xiao let out a low growl as if to encourage himself. After all, continuing the search might still lead to no results. Now that we've found one, as long as it's not from a place where people live comfortably, it should be fine, right? Moreover, although the performance of products made in Daxia might not be the most impressive, Lin Xiao had considerable confidence in their durability. He recalled many videos he had seen before, although the owners of those videos were all Wuling minivans, not BYD. But they're all domestically produced, so there shouldn't be any major problems. With that in mind, Lin Xiao opened the car door and sat in the driver's seat. Having located the one-button start, Lin Xiao gently pressed the brake. The engine started up. As Lin Xiao had predicted, the key was indeed the vehicle's start key. Judging from the interior decoration of the car, the owner should be a relatively young woman. There was still a faint fragrance inside the car, but the owner was nowhere to be found. They were probably murdered last night. Lin Xiao familiarized himself with the car's controls, and the little knowledge he had already passed on to his driving instructor slowly began to resurface in his mind. Fasten your seatbelt first, then shift into gear and release the brake. At first, Lin Xiao's operation went relatively smoothly. Automatic transmission cars are not particularly difficult to drive. But after he released the brakes, the car wouldn't move forward. What's going on? Lin Xiao touched his head. I followed the instructions exactly, so something's wrong with this car. He pressed the accelerator, producing a low rumble. Well. Lin Xiao finally realized what was going on. I didn't release the handbrake. Fortunately, he was the only one in the car, so he didn't feel awkward. After the handbrake was released, the car finally started moving. On the road, all vehicles were stationary. It's a good time to practice driving. Lin Xiao glanced at the fuel gauge and was relieved to find it was still mostly full. This will save him a lot of trouble. Lin Xiao didn't rush to use the car to challenge the zombies. Instead, he practiced on the road first. 10 minutes later, thanks to his intelligence, Lin Xiao was finally able to drive the little car skillfully. All right, now it's all up to you. He parked the car on the side of the road, and ahead of him was the deadly 500 meters he had just come from. This is his first target. There were many zombies, and they were very densely packed. And this is the only way for him to get back. Never mind, let's just do it. Lin Xiao slammed his fist on the steering wheel, releasing the pressure in his heart. I took a deep breath. Lin Xiao's hands reached for the steering wheel and gripped it tightly, released the brake, then floored the accelerator. However, the car didn't speed up as he had imagined. Holy crap! Lin Xiao was startled and quickly stepped on the brakes. Damn it, I completely forgot this isn't a luxury sports car. Such a short distance is simply not enough for him to accelerate. If he's still in his early stages, the sheer number of zombies would probably be enough to stop the car. Then Lin Xiao will be in danger. Fortunately, Lin Xiao braked in time and the car had not yet hit any zombies. Lin Xiao quickly shifted into reverse. No, let's come here later. Go find a few zombies on the road to practice on, and you can also improve your skills in the process. Even if I fail the challenge later, I still have a little room for error. Having finally been reborn, I can't just give up so easily. Lin Xiao frantically backed the car out, this time targeting the zombies still wandering around inside. He stepped on the gas, accelerated, and when he reached 80 km/h, Lin Xiao did not hesitate to steer towards a zombie that was only about 10 meters away from him. Bang! A tremendous impact was heard. Lin Xiao dared not stop the car and continued to press the accelerator pedal desperately. But he was going too fast and was losing control. Just as he was about to crash into the tree in front of him, he quickly turned the steering wheel to the right. On the right, two zombies are embracing and biting each other. This sudden car accident interrupted their friendly exchange. After the impact, Lin Xiao finally managed to stop the car. He let out a long sigh of relief. Lin Xiao felt that he might have oversimplified things. After glancing left and right and finding no zombies, Lin Xiao opened the car door. He had just bumped into 3 zombies and he was going to check what was going on. Not far behind, 2 zombies lay dead on the ground, their condition quite gruesome. However, Lin Xiao didn't care about any of that. He cautiously approached the other person, then casually picked up a long branch from the side. The branch touched the other's body, but it still didn't move. Lin Xiao thought for a moment, then realized the branches were still too soft. So he ran to an empty shop nearby and found a long steel pipe. This time, Lin Xiao didn't do it gently. Instead, he raised the steel pipe and smashed it down hard on the already mangled head of the zombie on the ground. After smashing the object more than a dozen times and confirming that it was completely dead, Lin Xiao's eyes gleamed with excitement. Mutant crystal. This was something that was very difficult to obtain in my previous life, in the early stages of the end times. Even mutants who have undergone mutations or awakened superpowers would find it difficult to deal with a single zombie on their own. The main problem is that I can't overcome my own fear. Upon discovering the other party's strange behavior, many people were so frightened that they lost their fighting ability. Lin Xiao, however, did not have such concerns. 3 months of apocalyptic life, though not long, was enough for him to develop immunity to it all. To put it bluntly, simply being alive is the cruelest thing in the world. Therefore, Lin Xiao didn't pay any attention to the pile of red and white things. He reached out and grabbed at the zombie's head. Mutant crystals. Although he owned very few of these, he had still picked them up countless times. As the most useless mutant, even if a team wanted him, he would only be used as a scout or to clean up the battlefield. Although Lin Xiao always collected these spoils, they did not belong to him. Very accurate. Although he had been reborn, Lin Xiao's hand still firmly grasped the presence of the mutated crystal. When he finally saw the white, transparent mutated crystal in his hand, an excited smile appeared on Lin Xiao's face. However, he quickly regained control of his expression. There's another one right next to it. Soon, a second mutated crystal appeared in Lin Xiao's hand. Then came the third one. About 30 meters away from him, another zombie was lying. That was the first person he killed. There's been no movement for so long, it's probably all over now. Running all the way there, Lin Xiao quickly obtained his third mutated crystal. This came too easily. Lin Xiao's heart was no longer at peace. However, he dared not relax here. If a zombie gets close and you don't notice it in time, you're still doomed. He quickly ran back to the car. He has just walked around the car once. Aside from the addition of some blood red to the pink, there aren't many changes. This domestically produced car is really good. This gave him even more confidence in his next move, after getting on the bus. Lin Xiao didn't rush to start the car, but instead took out the 3 mutated crystals he had just obtained. Lin Xiao casually wiped his mouth with his sleeve and then tossed the mutated crystal into his mouth. If it were anyone else, even if they knew the effects of the mutated crystal, they probably wouldn't be able to be as calm as Lin Xiao in putting this thing into their mouth. After all, it was just pried out of a zombie's head. And before that, the zombie was still lively and energetic. Lin Xiao smacked his lips a few times. It is no different from the mutated crystal of the previous life. It melts in your mouth and has no taste whatsoever. As a mutated crystal entered his stomach, a surge of pure energy simultaneously spread throughout his body. Lin Xiao could clearly feel that his physical strength had improved to a certain extent. Then, he did the same thing again, throwing the second and third mutated crystals into his mouth. A dozen seconds later, Lin Xiao opened his eyes. The fatigue from just now has completely disappeared. He could feel that his body had become much stronger. Becoming a Tier 1 mutant is quite simple. All you need to do is consume 10 of these mutant crystals. However, if you want to advance to the second tier, you'll need to increase it tenfold. But Lin Xiao was now full of confidence in himself. With this amazing vehicle at your disposal, getting mutated crystals is a piece of cake, isn't it? However, he still didn't provoke the group of zombies at the school gate. Judging from the situation just now, this vehicle wasn't strong enough to simply run over so many zombies. We'll probably need to find someone even more capable to handle this. But that's okay. There are also many zombies on the streets, so he can focus on improving his strength first. With strength, he had the means to survive. Soon, Lin Xiao found another target. This time, he was much more skilled at it. I even felt that I had reached a state of oneness with the car. Of course, this was just his own illusion. However, it's more than enough to deal with lone zombies. Several impact sounds rang out in succession. Each time, the car door opened, and Lin Xiao ran out to collect the mutated crystals. Half an hour later, Lin Xiao looked at the dozen or so mutated crystals in his hand and was overjoyed. In my previous life, it seemed that it was more than half a month after the fog ended that I obtained 10 mutation crystals, and thus advanced to the first-tier mutant level. And now, on only the first day of the dense fog, his harvest has already far exceeded his expectations. Ultimately, it was those eyes that provided him with immense help. After parking the car in a safe place again, Lin Xiao continued to take the mutated crystal. This time, he can directly advance to the first-tier mutant level. After becoming a first-tier mutant, he gained the ability to fight zombies. Certainly. Because his mutation only affected his eyes, even though he was a first-tier mutant, his physical abilities were only about the same as a zombie's, and perhaps even slightly inferior. But with the added intelligence, at least in one-on-one situations, I'm not so afraid anymore. Soon. Lin Xiao swallowed all 7 mutated crystals. I feel a constant surge of energy throughout my body, a warm and comfortable sensation. As he swallowed the 10th pill, the warm sensation even reached his eyes. The itchy, tingling sensation returned. Lin Xiao knew that this meant his own mutation had also led to evolution. This feeling didn't last long. After all, it's just the lowest level of mutation. Even if it evolves, it won't take long. When Lin Xiao opened his eyes again, he could feel that his eyes were slightly different again. However, he is currently unable to make a complete judgment. However, one thing is certain, his vision has improved. It was so clear that he could see that the female zombie, over 100 meters away, was actually wearing sexy black lace under her conservative outer garment. Just as Lin Xiao was preparing to act again, he suddenly realized something was wrong. Because he frequently opened and closed the doors, there was also a lot of white fog inside the car. At this moment, the white mist surged towards Lin Xiao's body once again. Lin Xiao was somewhat at a loss. This was something he had never experienced in his previous life, under normal circumstances. Once the white mist has entered the body once, the same batch of white mist will not enter the body again. It's like having antibodies. This fog won't just appear once, it will reappear a month later. Each time the fog appears, the zombies become stronger, but that's a story for another time. The current situation has clearly exceeded Lin Xiao's expectations. But he was helpless. He could only watch it all happen, unable to stop it. Damn it, could it be that the heavens are jealous of me because I advanced to a first-tier mutant so quickly and are preparing to eliminate me? After all, the appearance of this white mist was the biggest mystery to begin with. No one knows the origin of this white mist. There are quite a few speculations about the human survivors from the previous life. One of them is divine punishment. It is said that humans have caused massive environmental pollution on Earth, even threatening life on the planet. At this moment, heaven finally intervened, preparing to purify everything and start anew. If that's really the case, doesn't that mean there's another eye watching us from above? Upgrading so quickly, won't it attract the enemy's attention and lead to their premature elimination? Just as Lin Xiao was lost in thought, his body underwent another change. This time, it wasn't the eyes. After the white mist entered his body, it traveled around inside him, and then his legs began to feel slightly strange. This feeling was exactly the same as when his eyes underwent a strange change at the very beginning. No way. Lin Xiao was already overjoyed. In his previous life, he had never heard of a second mutation. The current version of myself has clearly undergone a second mutation. This time, the part that changed was his legs. It remains the lowest level of mutation. However, with his eyes already mutated once, this is no longer an E-level mutation. Grade E refers to a mutation that occurs in only one part of the body, including the facial features and limbs. Grade D, on the other hand, has 2 to 3 parts mutated. Grade C also consists of 2 to 3, but one of them will be one's own internal organ. As for Grade B, that's a completely different story. 3 to 5 parts, 2 or more of which are internal organs. The top-tier mutants within the B-level category will even awaken supernatural abilities. This is equivalent to a change in mental strength, just like what happened to Yao Xin in the dormitory. Grade A means 100% awakened superpowers. Lin Xiao didn't know much about these two levels, he had only heard about them. After all, this was something a mere E-level mutant like him couldn't possibly understand. If we include Lin Xiao's mutating legs, then 2 parts of his body have already mutated. Does that mean he's already at rank D? Not bad, not bad. After Lin Xiao guessed what was going to happen next, he was no longer nervous and even began to look forward to it. The combat power of 2 mutated parts is far greater than that of 1 part. Moreover, this time it was his legs that underwent the change, and he was very satisfied with it. As the saying goes of the 36 stratagems, running away is the best. After his legs mutated, he ran and easily surpassed the pre-apocalyptic world champion in the 100-meter dash. And it's not a sprint, it's a long-distance race. That's right. Can you imagine how incredible it would be to run 3 kilometers at an average speed faster than a world champion in the 100-meter dash? After the legs are mutated, it becomes possible. However, if you want to run even further, that's beyond what the mutated legs can do. That would require a lung abnormality. If you don't have enough lung capacity, maintaining this speed will probably kill you. However, Lin Xiao was already very content. At least in terms of burst speed, his speed surpasses that of ordinary zombies. This also significantly increased his chances of survival. Not long after, the strange changes in Lin Xiao's legs finally ended. Lin Xiao opened the car door and got out, ready to experience his legs after the mutation. First, I did a few warm-up exercises and shook my legs. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xiao suddenly exerted force with his legs. He dashed forward in an instant, leaving only a fleeting afterimage. This speed feels even faster than BYD's initial launch. Since it was his first time, Lin Xiao had no idea that it would be so fast. He couldn't stop in time and narrowly missed a zombie. After Lin Xiao ran over, the zombie finally reacted, shaking its head blankly. Did something just float by? There are unclean things here. Lin Xiao had no idea what the zombies were thinking. At this moment, he was already covered in sweat. After stopping, he squatted down, panting heavily. Damn, running like that is exhilarating, but I almost ran right into a zombie's mouth. And that's incredibly physically demanding. He was already panting heavily after running for only 10 seconds. However, in those 10-odd seconds, he had already run more than 300 meters. This is indeed even more exaggerated than the world's 100-meter sprint champion. Moreover, Lin Xiao could continue running. It's simply no longer necessary. He just wanted to test the strength of his legs. He wasn't risking his life. Panting heavily, Lin Xiao walked towards the car. Now he's becoming increasingly excited. Since this rebirth, it seems that many things have changed. Not only its eyes, but now its legs have also mutated. If I upgrade myself again, will the mutation continue? So that means, if you advance to the 4th or even 5th rank, wouldn't that allow for the mutation of 5 or 6 parts? Even among A-level mutants, Lin Xiao knew that at most 5 parts of their bodies had been mutated. However, those at the A-level are guaranteed to awaken superpowers. According to this logic, once I reach the 5th rank, I will have more mutated parts than an A-rank mutant. That's way too exaggerated. Moreover, it can continue to grow stronger, and later it might even undergo a complete transformation throughout its body. Even without awakening superpowers, Lin Xiao felt he would still become a monster. However, now is not the time to think about these things. Lin Xiao needed to continue preparing for work. With 100 mutation crystals, he can advance to the 2nd-tier mutant level. By then, he wouldn't be able to take on a zombie one-on-one, let alone 2 at once. Each level increase represents a 10-fold increase in strength. Moreover, his leg mutation has greatly enhanced his combat abilities. After getting back into the car and closing the door, Lin Xiao felt even more motivated. he decided to continue advancing in rank, even putting aside the collection of supplies. After all, no matter how much you can hold with both hands, you can only put down this many things. But with enough strength, even if the fog dissipates, he can still ensure his survival in this apocalyptic world. With his rate of advancement, he may not be the last, but he is certainly unprecedented. When the fog clears, for others, it will be the beginning of a second nightmare. For Lin Xiao, who had leveled up ahead of schedule, this place was paradise. P.S. I'm signed a contract. The Underworld War God is back, 3 chapters every day without fail, and I never take a break unless there are special circumstances. Lin Xiao started the car again, but still did not attempt to cross the 500-meter-long death tunnel. Even if he directly pacifies that place, Lin Xiao will definitely be able to advance to the 3rd rank. But he didn't want to take that risk. Just now, he discovered that the front bumper of the car was twisted. If this happens a few more times, the car will probably be totaled. Lin Xiao dared not take such a risk. He planned to come a few more times before looking for another car. Ideally, we'd like to get an off-road vehicle or something similar. That way, the impact will be strong enough. Only then did Lin Xiao have the confidence to challenge the zombie-infested street. Really. After 4 more impacts, the vehicle's bumper finally gave way and broke. The front of the car was riddled with dents. There's no other way. I still have to thank you. You helped me earn my first pot of gold after the apocalypse. It's a pity I have to abandon you. I hope you'll be stronger in your next life. You can't even handle a few bumps. Lin Xiao shook his head and sighed as he abandoned the pink BYD. This time he plans to get an off-road vehicle. Moreover, he wasn't worried about not having the keys in the car. With the zombies out of sight, Lin Xiao's current physical abilities allow him to easily launch a sneak attack. Of course, this is all predicated on him having a suitable weapon. He has just discovered such a weapon. With his exceptional eyesight, he saw a fire axe hanging on the wall inside a company through the door. This is good, it just so happens to come in handy. There was no one at the company entrance and no sound from the security room either. After Lin Xiao entered easily, there were some zombies in the hall. This company seems really unreasonable. They actually have people working overtime in the middle of the night. Even if it's 996, 9 p.m., 6 days a week, people should be off work by now. No wonder a big shot once said that working 996 is a blessing. Once you start working 7, you'll know what cruelty really means. After easily dodging several zombies wandering in the hall, Lin Xiao quickly approached the location where the fire axe was placed. After getting the fire axe, Lin Xiao suddenly felt more confident. Having a handy weapon versus fighting barehanded is like comparing heaven and earth. Let's try it out on a zombie first. With the weapon in hand, Lin Xiao's first thought was to personally kill a zombie. Not far away, a female zombie dressed in business attire was staring blankly into space. Lin Xiao immediately set his sights on her. Although they are all zombies, their combat abilities vary. Most female zombies are definitely not as strong as male zombies, though there are exceptions. However, the one in front of us was clearly just an ordinary female employee in life, with nothing special about her. He moved silently, approaching her quietly from behind. Lin Xiao gripped the fire axe tightly with both hands. He had to strike with a single, decisive blow. This is the best way to ensure your safety. If the first attack fails, Lin Xiao will definitely run away without hesitation. As long as I run a little further away, the other party won't be able to spot me. It is still very safe. It's getting closer. Lin Xiao was getting closer and closer to the female zombie, so close that he could smell her perfume. Right now, Lin Xiao, who had been hunched over, suddenly straightened up. He gripped the fire axe tightly with both hands and raised it high above his head. Lin Xiao used all his strength in this attack. Although the female zombie had already noticed something was wrong, she turned around, but Lin Xiao was clearly faster. The fire axe swung down hard, splitting the female zombie's head open. Hiss. The female zombie uttered a string of incomprehensible onomatopoeic words. Upon seeing this, Lin Xiao immediately pulled out the fire axe and then chopped down again. After hacking at the zombie 7 or 8 times, it finally fell to the ground. Lin Xiao let out a long sigh and plopped down on the ground, completely ignoring the various liquids flowing from the other person's head. After resting for a full minute, Lin Xiao finally managed to pull a mutated crystal from her head. Lin Xiao wiped it with his hand and then popped it into his mouth. With each additional pill he eats, his strength increases. After using this zombie as an experiment, Lin Xiao roughly estimated the comparison of his current strength with that of the zombie. If it's a sneak attack, even if the attacker is an adult male zombie, they probably wouldn't have time to react, let alone resisting. If that's the case, then things will be much easier from here on out. Lin Xiao ignored the remaining zombies in the hall. They were just minor trouble. The real feast is yet to come. Moreover, we've already been out for quite some time today. Before we knew it, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. If we don't act now, it will be evening. Although Lin Xiao's eyes can now see through the white mist, he cannot guarantee that he can still see as if it were daytime in the dark. In his previous life, although his eyes underwent a mutation, he was only slightly stronger than an ordinary person when night fell. Now his mutation has clearly shown other changes, but Lin Xiao still dares not gamble. If he can't act as if it were daytime in the dark, he won't be able to get back to his dorm today. After all, the road in front of the school was the only way he could get home. Although there are other doors, they are all too far away. Once night falls and his eyes become useless, he dares not wander off recklessly. Soon Lin Xiao was back on the street. This time his target was clear, a black Hummer parked not far away. Because he had already seen the owner of the car, who remained inside and had not gotten out, the other party had long since turned into a zombie. Lin Xiao carefully avoided the other zombies and arrived in front of the black Hummer. This car is indeed very imposing. Now, if he can get rid of the car owner, the car will be his. Lin Xiao first went to the other side of the driver's seat, and then he gently knocked on the car door a few times. At such close range, and with the zombie inside the car, it naturally heard Lin Xiao's padding sounds. Upon hearing the commotion, the zombies became noticeably more agitated and began crawling towards them. Seeing this, Lin Xiao quickly ran to the other side of the car. His hand was already on the car door, a gentle pull. Fortunately, the car doors were not locked. I guess the car owner was waiting for someone here last night. The car was turned off, but the doors were unlocked, and at this time yesterday it was evening. Driving such a luxury car, coupled with the owner's middle-aged age, at the university gate, even a fool could figure out what he was waiting for. "Pa, you scumbag, I'll get rid of you, you menace today." As he spoke, Lin Xiao opened the car door closest to the driver's side. The zombie, which had been crawling in the other direction, quickly turned around after hearing the commotion. They have extremely low intelligence and only know how to act on instinct. This time, however, it did find an exit. The open car door allowed it to climb out quickly head first. This uncle is quite polite. Lin Xiao was overjoyed when he saw the head sticking out. Since the other party has already offered their services, I'll gladly accept them. The fire axe swung down hard. Fearing he might not kill him in one strike, Lin Xiao kept swinging the fire axe in his hand. Lin Xiao only stopped when the other party was completely dead. Done. Next up is the final feast. After killing the middle-aged scumbag zombie, Lin Xiao dragged its corpse out of the car. Then, the car keys were easily found on him. Everything has fallen into place. Now it's time to test the car's quality. Lin Xiao now regretted that he had been too perfunctory when he was learning to drive. After getting his driver's license, my father never drove his car even once. His father had urged him to try driving on the road several times, but he resolutely refused. If you are a skilled driver, you can definitely use a Wuling minivan to complete this task. There are several cars right next to it. What a pity, Lin Xiao sighed. Reluctantly, I got into the driver's seat of the Hummer. Having experienced the BYD car earlier, Lin Xiao regained a little bit of confidence in his small car. It then took him a full 5 minutes to find the start button. This extinguished the little confidence he had managed to regain. But anyway, the car finally started. Lin Xiao glanced at the car's fuel gauge. It was about half full. These cars have relatively large fuel tanks. Although it was only half full, it was enough for Lin Xiao's use. After starting, Lin Xiao ran on the main road for a few minutes. Once I was more familiar with the car, I slowly drove it to the last, most dangerous section. Because it was a three-way intersection, Lin Xiao couldn't accelerate for a long distance to get the car to the speed he wanted. This is where skills come into play. However, Lin Xiao was not afraid. Anyway, it doesn't matter if the car is damaged, just fix it however you want. Then, Lin Xiao suddenly slammed on the gas pedal. A deafening roar erupted. This Hummer is indeed slightly better than the BYD. In terms of power, they're not even in the same league. Lin Xiao first quickly increased the car's RPM on the straight road. Although he's still only going 60 miles per hour, he can get the car to over 100 miles per hour in just a few seconds. The vehicle will soon pass through this three-way intersection. Lin Xiao calmed his nerves and suddenly turned the steering wheel. The vehicle suddenly veered sharply to the right, almost as if it were drifting. Fortunately, although Lin Xiao was nervous, she managed to control her subconscious urge to brake suddenly. Otherwise, his car might have overturned. However, because the car was still going a bit too fast for Lin Xiao, he tried his best to make the turn, but he still crashed into the road sign on the side. But these are minor issues, with the Hummer's power and its imposing appearance. As long as you're not afraid of damaging the vehicle, you can just crash into it however you want. Lin Xiao's car didn't even swerve at all. After straightening the car, Lin Xiao pressed the accelerator harder. The car roared to life with the accelerator pedal fully depressed. Lin Xiao almost drove a perfectly good SUV like a sports car. However, despite the car's loud noise, the zombies nearby still couldn't hear anything. This greatly increased Lin Xiao's success rate. By the time the zombies saw the car, it had already stepped into the gates of hell. Lin Xiao gripped the steering wheel firmly with both hands. At this moment, he must not panic. He should just keep crashing through the crowd and be done with it. If the steering wheel veers even slightly, he won't even need to wait for the zombies to make a move. He'll immediately stage a car crash. After all, both sides are houses. No matter how tough the car is, if it crashes into a wall at that speed, it's bound to die. Lin Xiao inside the car didn't even need to think twice. He was instantly killed. Even if he is a first-tier mutant, it will be of no use. When the Hummer hit the first zombie, the vehicle shook slightly. But then came the second and the third. These continuous high-intensity collisions caused Lin Xiao inside the car to shake violently. Even with his seatbelt on, he still wasn't having a good time. But he dared not be distracted in the slightest, still gripping the steering wheel tightly, his eyes fixed straight ahead. We absolutely mustn't overturn, and we absolutely mustn't crash into the wall. Lin Xiao kept repeating it to himself. Fortunately, although the vehicle keeps crashing into various tough zombies, no obvious problems have been found so far. The car was still going very fast, and the body remained very stable. The occasional collisions from the vehicles did not disturb the people in the car or on board in the slightest. At his current speed of 160 km/h, Lin Xiao could normally cover a distance of about 500 meters in the blink of an eye. However, these human figures created a slight delay. However, even as Lin Xiao drove to the school gate, the car remained as steady as a rock. At the school gate, the two zombie security guards had reappeared, seemingly out of nowhere. Was it the will of the beings before them that told them their duty was to guard this gate? That was truly touching. Lin Xiao thought to himself, but the car showed no signs of slowing down and sped straight toward the school gate. Bang. The two zombie security guards died on duty, which can be considered a fitting end to their lives. Lin Xiao stopped the car, reclined the seat slightly, and then lit a cigarette. This is really so exciting. Lin Xiao finally understood why so many people enjoyed racing. Who doesn't know that street racing is dangerous, but what man can resist the thrill of speed and collisions? After finishing his cigarette, Lin Xiao finally opened the car door. After getting out of the car, he first walked around it once. In that short minute, at least dozens of zombies were killed. Even so, the car's wear and tear was not severe. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, 2 more attempts should be fine. Since that was the case, Lin Xiao didn't hesitate at all, got back into the car and started the engine. It crashed through the crowd, but it didn't kill all the zombies on the street. After all, the car is only so wide. Lin Xiao's driving skills were insufficient to control the vehicle and crash into every single zombie. He could only drive straight towards them. It's okay, though. If he does it one more time, it should be about right. The vehicle started again. This time, Lin Xiao had room to accelerate and didn't need to force himself to show off his terrible driving skills anymore. Step on the gas and go all the way. If this were pre-apocalyptic gas prices, one stomp would have wiped out $2. However, Lin Xiao naturally wouldn't care about these things now. The Hummer let out a roar and turned back the way it came. The zombies that had been neglected earlier finally received Lin Xiao's favor this time. Amidst the continuous crashing sounds, Lin Xiao once again experienced a thrilling bumper car adventure. When he got out of the car again, there weren't many zombies left alive on that 500-meter stretch of road. The streets were littered with the corpses of zombies. Lin Xiao watched all of this with shining eyes. Now I'll be able to advance to the second tier. Easily dodging the few remaining zombies, Lin Xiao, carrying a large bag he'd gotten from a convenience store, collected them all the way from one end of the street to the other. Even the last 2 diligent security guards weren't spared by the zombies. Each of these mutated crystals is a symbol of power. 7 days later, when he, as a third-tier mutant, was interacting with the newbies in the beginner village. Just thinking about it made Lin Xiao beam with joy. This time he wanted to see who else could make him feel aggrieved. The large bag contained more than 100 mutated crystals. Lin Xiao wasn't in a hurry to level up here. It wasn't safe. He got back into his car, drove into the campus, found a secluded spot free of zombies, and began his second level up of the day. In his previous life, Lin Xiao wouldn't have dared to even imagine such a thing. 100 mutated crystals, that's quite a lot. Even if you eat them one by one, it will still take some time. However, Lin Xiao was not in a hurry. This place is very close to the boys' dormitory, and there are no zombies around for the time being. Even if it gets really dark, he's confident he can get back. One mutated crystal after another was thrown into Lin Xiao's mouth. His body, due to the influx of a large amount of energy, continuously emitted a warm current, making him feel very comfortable all over. As these warm currents flowed out, Lin Xiao could clearly feel the changes in his body. If he was a first-tier mutant who could take on several adult men at once, he can now be considered non-human. With his mutated legs, he can run 100 meters faster by about 1 second than before. Don't underestimate that mere second of improvement. As physical fitness continues to improve, every little improvement represents a qualitative change, like a sprinter before the apocalypse. Within 10 seconds, every 0. 1 represents a transformation. Lin Xiao, on the other hand, improved by a full second this time. This indicates that his physical condition has undergone another significant change. Lin Xiao had absorbed all the energy from the 100 mutated crystals and thus became a second-tier mutant. However, Lin Xiao did not move. He continued to hope that, like when he advanced to the next level, another unexpected change would occur. As expected, Lin Xiao was not disappointed. The white mist inside the car churned again as Lin Xiao leveled up, then enveloped his body. Having learned from his previous experience, Lin Xiao offered no resistance this time, quietly awaiting its next mutation. Soon, the white mist entered Lin Xiao's body. This time, as soon as the white mist entered his body, Lin Xiao's hands already felt a slight soreness and itchiness. It's here, eyes, feet, hands. Now Lin Xiao can be considered to have developed in all aspects. Moreover, the mutation in his hands greatly enhanced his combat power once again. This time, if he were to go and chop down that middle-aged scumbag zombie again, he could easily take it down with a single axe blow. After his hands underwent a transformation, Lin Xiao could easily break even the heaviest weightlifting records. The change came quickly, and it went quickly as well. Although he has already mutated 3 parts, they are all the most basic parts. It has no internal organs and no awakened supernatural abilities. In this way, he would barely be considered a relatively strong D-level mutant. It's not even as good as a C grade, but Lin Xiao was already quite satisfied. At least his potential for growth was still very high. Once I reach the 5th rank, there should be a tremendous qualitative change. Of course, this is just Lin Xiao's current guess, and everything is still unknown, especially after this fog clears up. When the second fog descends, some unexpected changes may occur. However, it's too early to say anything about that now. What he needs to do now is figure out how to maximize his gains in these 7 days. This benefit must be so great that he can remain far ahead of everyone else until the second white fog descends. Achieving all of this is neither particularly difficult nor particularly easy. The simplest way is to keep collecting resources. After the apocalypse ended, the first thing humans did upon emerging from the famine was to frantically search for food. For people who have been hungry for 7 days, filling their stomachs is the first thing to do. After discovering a large number of zombies, finding supplies became extremely difficult, and there was even a risk of death if one was not careful. After the fog cleared, a large number of people who did not starve to death eventually died in the mouths of zombies, becoming their food. You might even be turned into the lowest level zombie yourself. This turmoil was expected to last for 3 months, until the second white fog descended. Before this, as long as Lin Xiao could gather enough supplies, he could rest easy and get through the period without any worries. Furthermore, he could even build the largest power at any time if he wanted to. However, Lin Xiao hasn't considered these things yet. He wasn't a very ambitious person, he just wanted to survive in this apocalyptic world. It would be best if his parents came along. In the previous life, the day after the white fog ended, all communication signals were restored. But Lin Xiao never got through to her parents again. In this life, he had already spoken to his mother beforehand. If the mother does as she is told, she will very likely survive this crisis. As long as they survive, I can go and rescue them as soon as the white fog dissipates. As for the zombies along the way, by then, he would have already reached the 3rd rank. In the early stages, it was invincible. It doesn't matter if it's B rank, A rank, or even SSS rank. In the face of absolute strength, talent is of no use. As I pondered, the night grew ever darker. Lin Xiao looked ahead. With the combined effects of fog and darkness, even his eyes could only see for less than 20 meters. If he waits until it gets even darker, he'll be essentially blind. It's time to go back. Taking advantage of the last bit of time, Lin Xiao drove to the supermarket where he had bought the items the day before. As expected, those middle-aged women had all turned into zombies. With Lin Xiao's current strength, these elderly zombie women were completely powerless against his sneak attack. Lin Xiao quickly finished them all off, and this time he didn't take any food. What he took yesterday was enough for him and Yao Xin to eat for a long time. He arrived at the back half of the supermarket, where a variety of odds and ends were for sale. This includes women's underwear, sanitary napkins, and other similar items. Lin Xiao didn't know what Yao Xin's code was, so he took some of everything and even added a roll of toilet paper. He noticed yesterday when he went to the toilet that the toilet paper in the dorm was almost gone. It's all because of those two unfortunate friends who had diarrhea yesterday. They wasted a lot of tissues. After getting the items, Lin Xiao didn't drive anymore. It was such a short distance, he could just run there in a few steps. This car did a great job today and we might need it again in the next few days, so we'll leave it here for now. You can come anytime you want, in the boys' dormitory. Yao Xin sat alone on the bed, leaning against the wall behind her. His legs were slightly arched and his head was buried between his legs like an ostrich. Lin Xiao has been out all day. It was getting dark, but Lin Xiao still hadn't returned. Although Yao Xin didn't know exactly what had happened outside, judging from the events of last night. It's definitely not a good thing. Given Lin Xiao's description of the situation, she already believed about 70–80% of it. But if everything Lin Xiao said is true, what will he do with so many zombies outside? And Yao Xin had tried many times, but the thick fog blocked her view. She couldn't see or hear anything. It was as if she were the only person in the entire world. Sitting in the dormitory, although there is food, drink, water, and electricity, there is no signal, but fear continued to haunt her. She was slightly better when Lin Xiao was there yesterday. After Lin Xiao left, she was left all alone, and this fear only intensified. When she realized it was already 5 o'clock and Lin Xiao still hadn't returned, she began to worry. It's almost 6 o'clock now. In Changsha, it always gets dark very early in winter. At 6 o'clock, it would normally be pitch black. There was already a thick fog blocking the view, and then it got dark. Yao Xin was really afraid that Lin Xiao would leave and never return. Finally, a noise suddenly came from the doorway. Yao Xin, who was sitting on the bed, suddenly stood up and picked up a broom next to her. This was the only weapon she could find that was somewhat suitable for her in Lin Xiao's dormitory. Lin Xiao had already taken the fruit knife out, and there were no other knives left in the dormitory. Only this broom, which looked a little longer, could give her a semblance of security. The commotion outside the door grew louder and louder. It felt like something was constantly touching the dormitory door. Yao Xin's heart was in her throat. The next second, the door was opened. "Ah, yeah." A piercing scream rang out, startling Lin Xiao, who had just opened the door. They thought something unclean had gotten into their base. He could see Yao Xin several meters away, blindfolded, wildly waving a broom. Lin Xiao couldn't help but laugh. Hearing Lin Xiao's laughter, Yao Xin finally stopped what she was doing and then opened her eyes. Upon seeing Lin Xiao before her, Yao Xin felt as if she had encountered a long-lost relative. Suddenly, she threw down the broom and threw herself into Lin Xiao's arms, bursting into tears. Lin Xiao, a man who had been single for over 20 years, was completely flustered by Yao Xin. Thankfully, even so, he still remembered to close the dormitory door with his leg. Safety should be the top priority. Lin Xiao didn't know why Yao Xin had changed so much in just one day. He continued to gently pat Yao Xin's back, but didn't know what to say. He never expected this. A woman in her early 20s suddenly encountered such a change. She spent another day alone in her dorm room filled with endless panic, and then suddenly saw Lin Xiao appear before her. It was as if I suddenly felt safe. At this moment, Lin Xiao was her only family, and she could only confide her fear to Lin Xiao. After a while, Yao Xin finally cried enough and realized what she was doing. Her face was flushed and her eyes were red from crying, but even the red marks couldn't hide the weariness on her face. She subconsciously pushed Lin Xiao away, trying to break free from his embrace. But they pushed it onto a pile of clothes. "What's this?" Yao Xin glanced at it with suspicion, only to find that it was all women's underwear. He went out today just for this. Yao Xin had a tendency to imagine things in a perverse direction, but she quickly dismissed it herself. If Lin Xiao were that kind of person, he would have already taken advantage of me last night. Seeing Yao Xin's gaze, Lin Xiao calmly tossed all the things he was carrying onto the bed she had slept on. I didn't know your size, so I just grabbed a few random ones for you, see if they fit. Hearing Lin Xiao's words, Yao Xin was suddenly moved. Girls like guys who are detail-oriented. Lin Xiao's unintentional action caused Yao Xin's feelings for him to rise sharply. Although they haven't reached the point of reciprocating each other's feelings, they can now interact normally in the same room. Once Yao Xin had calmed down, Lin Xiao went into the dormitory. He spent the whole day outside, although he didn't kill most of the zombies himself. But the few he killed also left a trace of blood on him. The sweat covering his body was making him very uncomfortable. Although he was very hungry, he decided to take a hot shower first. He was used to going hungry. In my previous life, I often went hungry for 2 or 3 days at a time, to the point that my child became numb to hunger. Lin Xiao took out 2 changes of clothes from the closet and then went into the bathroom. Only after Lin Xiao went inside did Yao Xin hurriedly tidy up all the underwear on the bed. As for trying it, it can't be now. She can try it in the bathroom after Lin Xiao comes out. And these are all new, they need to be washed first, otherwise they'll harbor bacteria. Girls dress differently from boys, they pay much more attention to detail. For guys, they can just take it apart and wear it, they don't care about bacteria or anything like that. Soon, Lin Xiao emerged from the restroom, once again demonstrating what true manly speed looks like. He threw the clothes he had just changed out of the window. It was stained with blood, albeit very little, but Lin Xiao didn't plan to wear it anymore. There's no way around it, given the opportunity we can certainly indulge ourselves. After coming out, Lin Xiao still didn't talk to Yao Xin, but instead started looking for something to eat. He only ate a little something at the supermarket today. Although he ate twice in a row, which made him feel less hungry, he is still hungry now. Feeling so happy today, Lin Xiao decided to cook for herself. Of course, the only kitchen in the dormitory was that induction cooker. Lin Xiao, on the other hand, didn't have any cooking skills. What I'm most skilled at, of course, is cooking instant noodles. Since getting this induction cooker and pot, Lin Xiao has never eaten instant noodles with boiling water again. He won't eat it if it's not cooked, he's just that willful. Moreover, you have to add eggs and sausages. However, the situation is special now. Adding ham is fine, but let's skip the eggs. Otherwise, if people find out, they'll think he's showing off his wealth. While Lin Xiao was busy, Yao Xin simply watched him quietly with her big eyes wide open. Although there's not much noise in the dormitory now and no one is talking to her, but compared to the daytime, she felt much safer. And all of this was brought to her by this junior student in front of her. Do you want some? Lin Xiao was opening a bowl of instant noodles when he suddenly seemed to remember something, turned around and looked at Yao Xin, asking her a question. Yao Xin had been staring at Lin Xiao, and when he suddenly turned around, their eyes met. A strange feeling made Lin Xiao a little flustered, but he quickly calmed down. Want some? Seeing Yao Xin still in a daze, Lin Xiao asked another question. The water was almost boiling, it was time to prepare the noodles. Eat, okay. Pressed by Lin Xiao again, Yao Xin seemed to suddenly come to her senses, and in a bit of a panic she blurted out several words. All right, Lin Xiao understands. Lin Xiao tore open another packet of instant noodles, feeling that the pot seemed a bit small. I had originally planned to cook another packet, but I had to give up on that idea. Well, 3 packs should be enough, right? If not, then we'll just have to go through the trouble of cooking one more time after we finish eating. Soon, a fragrant aroma filled the small dormitory room. Even Yao Xin, who was sitting quietly to the side, couldn't help but swallow hard. She ate a little something during the day, but really just a tiny bit. I don't want to eat and I have no appetite, but now. She suddenly felt very hungry, as if she suddenly had an appetite. Just a moment, it'll be ready soon. Lin Xiao seemed to have seen through Yao Xin's thoughts behind him and suddenly spoke up. Kindness. Yao Xin answered softly, and the two fell silent again with only the sound of the instant noodles on the table boiling. Before long, the instant noodles were cooked. Lin Xiao took a deep sniff. It smelled wonderful, just the right scent. Based on his years of experience cooking instant noodles, this pot is definitely one of the top quality ones. It seems that after my mutation, I've become much better at cooking noodles. Yao Xin, who was standing to the side, was already impatient. I hadn't eaten much all day, and the smell of instant noodles made me feel even worse. Lin Xiao skillfully took out a bowl and poured all the instant noodles into it. Well, there's only one bowl. The other one belongs to my roommate. Want me to wash it for you? When it was time to eat, Lin Xiao hesitated. There were plenty of chopsticks, though. Because they often cook noodles in the dormitory, they would always bring back a few pairs of disposable chopsticks whenever they went to the cafeteria. There's still a lot left unused. I'll eat from your bowl. Yao Xin hesitated for a moment, initially thinking of not eating it, but the aroma of the instant noodles was just too tempting. In comparison, eating that dry bread was indeed quite difficult to swallow. Okay then, Lin Xiao wasn't particular about anything. Don't let the fat guy's appearance fool you, he always washes his dishes very clean after eating. After all, it's his livelihood, so he cherishes it very much. However, Lin Xiao still rinsed it several times with hot water before using it with peace of mind. By the time he finished rushing out, Yao Xin had already started eating without even looking forward to it. Don't rush, eat slowly. If it's really too much, I'll cook some more later. You shouldn't eat too much instant noodles at once, otherwise you'll easily feel nauseous. However, for someone like Lin Xiao who had survived the apocalypse for 2 years, this was not a concern at all. What is nausea? It's good enough to have something to eat. In the past, he could swallow half of what he vomited back down, even if it was disgusting. Soon, Lin Xiao also joined the ranks of those wolfing down their food. Although the noodles were freshly cooked and still a little hot, it didn't affect their ability to eat them. The large bowl of noodles was quickly devoured by the two of them. After finishing her meal, Yao Xin couldn't help but stick out her little tongue and lick her lips. This playful and cute appearance was incredibly alluring to Lin Xiao. In particular, this unintentional display is even more attractive. Perhaps realizing that her movements were a bit off, Yao Xin quickly lowered her head, but immediately she stood up again. I'll wash the dishes. As a child from a rural area, Yao Xin has done so many of these things. Besides, I've been eating Lin Xiao's food all this time, so washing a dish is nothing. Lin Xiao did not refuse. He actually hates washing dishes more than cooking noodles. It's great that someone is willing to share the burden. While washing the dishes, Lin Xiao suddenly remembered something important. By the way, you spent the whole day in the dorm today. Did you notice any changes in your body? There's a 99% chance Yao Xin is a level A or higher mutant, which Lin Xiao is quite curious about. In her previous life, Chen Feifei was the only A-level mutant in the entire Star City. I wonder if all the other A-level mutants died in the early stages of the apocalypse. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that some are hidden. In this apocalyptic world, concealing one's strength is also a very important thing. Don't assume your only enemies are zombies. More often than not, humans are the more terrifying ones. In this world without laws, any moment of leniency could cost you your life. It's still in its early stages, and many people haven't yet shifted their mindset. A week later, when everyone realizes that national order has collapsed, that will be the true end of the world. In his previous life, Lin Xiao only began to adapt to the survival rules of the apocalypse after suffering 2 or 3 setbacks. There was nothing they could do. The dense fog was simply too eerie, and they had no way to fight it, only to passively endure it. Even the criteria for this mutation have nothing to do with the strength or weakness of a person's physical constitution. It's as if everything is random. In this situation, even the massive machine of the state is powerless to reverse the situation. Upon hearing Lin Xiao's words, Yao Xin stopped washing the dishes as if she was thinking about how to express herself. After a while, Yao Xin's hand moved again, and at the same time she told Lin Xiao how she felt. Besides some changes in my head, there are also some changes in my legs and my back is a little sore. And my lower abdomen, it seems to be a bit sore all over. But after the pain subsided, it felt really good, a tingling, itchy feeling. Yao Xin slowly expressed all her feelings. And what about in your mind, can you sense anything? The other parts are unsurprisingly all abnormalities of the body. Legs and internal organs. As for that thing on his back, Lin Xiao vaguely remembered hearing about it from someone. It should be the spine. This thing has undergone a very powerful mutation, but Lin Xiao didn't know exactly how powerful it was. However, what he was most concerned about was what kind of superpower Yao Xin had awakened. It feels so empty. Yao Xin pondered this carefully but only uttered this sentence. Lin Xiao was a little confused. Although he had 3 months of experience in the apocalypse, he had only focused on surviving in his previous life and didn't know much. And in the entire Star City, Chen Feifei is the only A-level user. He does know what Chen Feifei is. She has fire-type superpowers. And the fire element certainly doesn't feel empty. It seems that Yao Xin will have to put in more effort to research it herself. There was still time, so Lin Xiao wasn't in a hurry. I'm just very curious about what kind of psychic ability Yao Xin will eventually develop. As for the changes in other parts of her body, Lin Xiao told her to figure them out on her own. Although the physical mutations were classified as inferior, the benefits were real. This is the foundation upon which a person can become strong. Only by fully adapting to the power that has been mutated can one survive more easily in the apocalypse. In his previous life, Lin Xiao had always envied those mutants who possessed extraordinary combat abilities. As for himself, this useless eye mutation couldn't bring him any help. Of course, that was in my previous life. In this life, he owes everything to these eyes. Otherwise, how could he have achieved such great success today? This is only the first day of the apocalypse. This fog will last for another 6 days. 6 days is enough time for him to get off to a perfect start that surpasses everyone else's. At night, lying in bed, having learned from their experience, Lin Xiao and Yao Xin both calmed down. Lin Xiao, in particular, was exhausted after a long day and soon fell into a deep sleep. Yao Xin lay on the bed in a daze for a while, then started to ponder the strange feeling in her head. 7 o'clock the next morning. Lin Xiao had just woken up when he found that Yao Xin was already up and doing something strange downstairs. Seemingly unaware that Lin Xiao had opened his eyes, Yao Xin remained immersed in her own world. Lin Xiao didn't say anything to disturb her but just watched quietly, wondering what this pretty senior was planning to do. Yao Xin had her eyes tightly closed, as if she was trying to sense something, and then she waved her hands haphazardly a few times unconsciously. What happened next left Lin Xiao speechless. The 2 bags of potato chips that were just in front of Yao Xin suddenly disappeared. Lin Xiao was startled. What was this thing? Yao Xin didn't stop. This time, Lin Xiao opened his eyes wide and even used his eye abilities. Because she was in the dormitory, Yao Xin didn't have any clothes to change into, so she was dressed very lightly. The moment Lin Xiao opened his eyes, he was immediately met with a completely unobstructed view. 2 streams of blood gushed from his nose instantly. Lin Xiao blushed. Thankfully, Yao Xin below didn't notice. He quickly wiped his face haphazardly with his hand, then continued observing. Yao Xin made a few random gestures, completely different from the last time. Even so, the 2 bottles of mineral water next to her suddenly disappeared. This time, Lin Xiao saw it all clearly. The mineral water just disappeared suddenly, which was very strange. At this moment, Yao Xin also opened her eyes, her face full of joy, as if she had discovered something fun. However, when she looked up, she saw Lin Xiao staring at her in disbelief. This made Yao Xin blush. In the past 2 days, she blushed more times than she has in her entire life. Ah, you're awake. Feeling flustered under Lin Xiao's gaze, Yao Xin seemed like a child who had done something wrong. What was that just now? Lin Xiao didn't pay attention to all that. His focus was still on how Yao Xin had made the food disappear. Hearing this, Yao Xin became excited again and immediately showed off to Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao, I can open a space. Open space? Lin Xiao was still completely bewildered. This space is huge and I can put things in it. Look. As she spoke, Yao Xin touched a piece of bread on the table and the bread disappeared instantly. This made Lin Xiao's eyes light up. What kind of ability is this to carry a storage space with you at all times? In the apocalypse, this is practically a mobile food store. Can you take it out? Lin Xiao quickly asked. Sure. Yao Xin nodded and the bread that had just disappeared, along with the water and potato chips from before, all reappeared on the table. Lin Xiao jumped off the bed. This was definitely the best news he had received since his rebirth. Everything outside is currently ownerless, and Lin Xiao had considered many possible solutions. How can we store enough food over these 7 days? The more the better. But I still haven't found a solution. But now there's no need to think about that problem anymore. With Yao Xin's help, the problem has been easily solved. Overwhelmed with excitement, Lin Xiao jumped down and hugged Yao Xin, giving her a big kiss on the cheek. That's wonderful, you're my lucky star. Yao Xin stared blankly at Lin Xiao, who was gesturing wildly in front of her, her mind completely blank. Did he kiss me? Although it was a kiss on the cheek, it was still a first for her in her life. How could you do that? You kissed her without even saying a word. After a moment of excitement, Lin Xiao seemed to have forgotten that he had just kissed Yao Xin and turned around to ask, how big is your space? Although Yao Xin was very angry, she still answered honestly. It's huge, as big as a supermarket. The supermarket she mentioned was the one Lin Xiao went shopping at yesterday. Although it was located inside a school, the supermarket was still over 100 square meters. Based on this space, the amount of food that can be stored. Lin Xiao screamed again. Yao Xin touched her cheek. This was the spot where Lin Xiao had just secretly kissed her. Seeing Lin Xiao jumping and hopping like a child, Yao Xin suddenly stopped being angry and a smile appeared on her face instead. It's just that Lin Xiao didn't see it. Otherwise, he would definitely have been completely melted by that smile. After making a fuss for a while, Lin Xiao sat down next to Yao Xin. Only then did he belatedly realize that he had just kissed the pretty senior. Ah, my first kiss. However, this beautiful senior is also someone with portable storage space. I feel like I've hit the jackpot. Once the dormitory quieted down, a slightly awkward atmosphere formed between the two. To break the awkward silence, Lin Xiao had no choice but to speak first. Did you not wash your face this morning? Upon hearing this, Yao Xin's pupils began to dilate as she stared at Lin Xiao in disbelief. What does this guy mean? I didn't sleep all night, so I definitely didn't wash my face. Is he disgusted with himself? As soon as the words left his mouth, Lin Xiao knew something was wrong. I just happened to be looking at her face, so I asked that question without thinking. After all, I had just gotten up and hadn't even washed my face or brushed my teeth yet. But of all times, they had to ask at this moment. I didn't mean anything by it, and I didn't brush my teeth either. Lin Xiao quickly added, then, Lin Xiao, you kissed me without brushing your teeth. Knowing he was in the wrong, Lin Xiao dashed to the bathroom and finished washing up in just 1 minute. Yao Xin watched as Lin Xiao ran away like a gust of wind and then immediately ran back. Then, before Yao Xin could react, he hugged her and kissed her hard again. Now I've rinsed my mouth, is that okay? The morning was spent in a mix of joy and embarrassment. In the end, Lin Xiao managed to get away with it thanks to his thick skin. Come out with me later. The two were having breakfast in their dorm room when Lin Xiao suddenly spoke up. Go out. Yao Xin glanced out the dormitory window. It was all white and she couldn't see anything. However, Lin Xiao went out alone yesterday. Perhaps he has some ideas. If she could go out, she would definitely want to go out and see the world. From the night before last until now, Yao Xin still has no idea what has happened in this world. How did it suddenly become like this? Lin Xiao nodded. Let's go out and find more food to prepare. You have storage space. If we fill it up, we won't have to worry about food for the rest of our lives. By the way, will it expire if I put it in your storage space? Lin Xiao suddenly thought of a very crucial question. This question will determine his choices when stockpiling supplies. It seems not, Yao Xin said with some uncertainty. However, she had this feeling when she opened her storage space. The things placed inside seem to be frozen in time. They look exactly the same when they are put in as when they are taken out. And this space can only hold inanimate objects. Neither living people nor animals can be placed inside. Won't it expire? Lin Xiao has decided on today's route. He needs to go to the large supermarket outside the school. Only 1 day has passed, and with the power supply remaining uninterrupted, the refrigerated meat in the supermarket certainly hasn't spoiled yet. We need to stock up on this stuff. In the post-apocalyptic world, eating meat will be a luxury. It doesn't mean there are no animals left. However, just like humans, animals can also undergo mutations. Those that have turned into zombies are naturally inedible. In the early stages, humans are often no match for animals that have undergone physical mutations. If they weren't so few in number and not so intelligent, they would probably be the final masters of this planet. Thinking about this, Lin Xiao began to feel excited. Meat, I must stock up on enough fresh meat today. This thing can even be exchanged in equal quantities with mutated crystals after the apocalypse. After a quick breakfast, Yao Xin finally left the dormitory under Lin Xiao's guidance. The corridor was empty and silent. After more than a day of fermentation, the white mist in the corridor had increased, completely blocking Yao Xin's view. I estimate that in another 2 or 3 days, the dormitories will also be affected. At that time, even if Yao Xin just goes to the toilet, Lin Xiao will probably have to lead her there. However, she clearly hadn't realized the problem yet, and Lin Xiao naturally wouldn't bring it up. She'd find out in a couple of days anyway. Come on, give me your hand. As soon as he stepped out the door, Lin Xiao naturally extended his left hand. The fog outside was even thicker than in the corridor. Once outside, Yao Xin felt as if she were deaf and blind. If Lin Xiao doesn't hold her hand, she might get lost even if she follows him around. Looking at Lin Xiao's outstretched hand, Yao Xin gently bit her lip, a hint of hesitation flashing across her face. Hurry up, we need to close the door, otherwise there will be too much fog inside. As the dormitory door opened, a lot of white mist rushed in, and Lin Xiao quickly urged them on. Seeing this, Yao Xin could only grit her teeth and slam the door shut, then stretched out her right hand. As their hands touched, Lin Xiao's heart suddenly trembled, but he quickly regained his composure and firmly grasped Yao Xin's soft, boneless little hand. It feels warm and cool, very comfortable. Yao Xin lowered her head immediately, not daring to look at Lin Xiao. My heart was pounding like a deer. Stay close to me, we're going out. Lin Xiao shook his head, clearing those strange thoughts away. Right now, gathering supplies was more important. There were no zombies in the dormitory building. Even if there were, they were all locked inside and hadn't come out. Lin Xiao already knew this yesterday. However, after a night, two zombies suddenly appeared at the entrance of the dormitory building, seemingly wandering in from who knows where. Judging from the situation, these two guys were wandering around all night and are probably tired. They plan to rest for a while at the dormitory entrance and won't be leaving anytime soon. If you want to get past them, you'll have to kill them. Lin Xiao is now a second-tier mutant. The mutations in his limbs have greatly enhanced his combat power. With the experience from my previous life, even though it was only a short 3 months, it was enough to deal with these two ordinary zombies. You wait here. Lin Xiao turned around, leaned closer, and spoke to Yao Xin. Because of the fog, the two had to stand very close together so that Yao Xin could hear them clearly. This made Yao Xin, who was already shy, even more uneasy. Before she could say anything, Lin Xiao had already released her right hand. As soon as Lin Xiao let go, Yao Xin seemed to have lost something and reflexively tried to grab him. But Lin Xiao was too fast and she missed. All that could be seen was Lin Xiao's back as he disappeared into the thick fog. Lin Xiao had already approached the two resting zombies, raising the fire axe high in his right hand. With the thick fog present, Lin Xiao was like a player with cheat codes, coupled with his second-tier strength. With a swift swing of the axe, an ordinary zombie's head was split open. The other one reacted immediately, but before it could do anything, Lin Xiao swung his axe again. After his hands underwent a transformation, Lin Xiao's attack power was far greater than it had been yesterday. These ordinary zombies can be killed with a single axe blow. A second strike is completely unnecessary. After dealing with the two unfortunate creatures, Lin Xiao, showing no disgust at their grotesqueness, immediately squatted down and took out a mutated crystal from each of their heads. What a great start. We've already made a profit before even leaving the house. It looks like today will definitely be a bumper harvest. Standing in the dormitory corridor, Yao Xin felt a little flustered. Lin Xiao's sudden departure made her feel as if she had been abandoned. I looked left and right, but I couldn't see anything or hear anything. She dared not move, afraid that something bad might appear in the vast white fog. Now her only hope lies in the words Lin Xiao spoke when he left. You wait here. In this vast expanse of white, every second felt like an eternity to Yao Xin. Even though less than a minute had passed, her fear had been amplified to an infinite degree, and she had no idea how much time had actually elapsed. She just kept thinking about when Lin Xiao would come back and whether he had given up on her. Finally, a familiar presence suddenly drew near, followed by Lin Xiao's voice in her ear. I'm back. At this moment, those words encapsulate everything Yao Xin has to say. When Lin Xiao grabbed her hand again, Yao Xin not only did not resist at all, but was filled with a sense of security. He grabbed Lin Xiao's large hand tightly with his other hand. Lin Xiao turned around in surprise and glanced at Yao Xin behind him. How could she have changed so much in just 2 minutes? However, Lin Xiao didn't pay much attention to it. After all, it was a good thing for him. With Yao Xin in tow, Lin Xiao chose to bypass the two zombie corpses. Although she will get used to these things sooner or later, not now. The most important task now is to collect enough resources so that they can maximize their advantages in this early post-apocalyptic world. After bypassing the area, Lin Xiao led Yao Xin straight to the supermarket where she had previously worked part-time. Although Yao Xin couldn't see anything nearby, she could guess where Lin Xiao was taking her based on her memory and intuition. Are we going to the supermarket? Perhaps because the surroundings were too quiet, Yao Xin wanted to find something to talk about to ease her mood. Yes, but not this one. Lin Xiao nodded. Because they were talking, Lin Xiao slowed down again, bringing them closer together. The reason I came to the supermarket is because my Land Rover is still parked here from yesterday. To get to a large supermarket outside of school, you definitely need to drive. Having a car and not using it, that's stupid. Soon, Lin Xiao met the biggest contributor from yesterday again. Get on the bus. Lin Xiao didn't take the car keys with him, he left them in the car. Anyway, no one else would be coming to drive at this time, that would be tantamount to suicide. The inside of the car was much better than the outside. Although there was still fog, Yao Xin, sitting in the passenger seat, could barely see Lin Xiao's face. This gave her a greater sense of security. You drove this car yesterday too. Seeing Lin Xiao's familiar face, Yao Xin couldn't help but ask. Yes, Lin Xiao answered casually. Lin Xiao glanced at the car's fuel gauge and nodded in satisfaction. This car owner did a good thing, the fuel gauge showed it was almost full. Lin Xiao's extravagant spending yesterday did not cause any impact on the Hummer's fuel tank. Therefore, Lin Xiao doesn't need to worry about running out of gas at all. It should be enough to drive around Xingcheng a few times. Lin Xiao only knew one large supermarket near Xingcheng University, Walmart. The supermarket isn't far from their school, only about 3 or 4 kilometers away, a 10-minute drive. However, the zombies along the way might take some time. Today, Lin Xiao wasn't very interested in killing zombies to obtain mutated crystals. For someone who has survived 3 months in the apocalypse, food is more urgent than anything else. Anyone who has been starving for months would probably only have one thought in mind when they see all these supplies on the streets: hoard them all. Soon, Yao Xin fastened her seatbelt, turned her head, and looked at Lin Xiao with some trepidation. "Can you drive?" No wonder she asked that. Many people do get their driver's licenses during college, but only a handful are actually able to drive on the road. In Yao Xin's vision, all that was ahead was a vast expanse of white, and she couldn't see anything at all. Even if Lin Xiao drove her into a ditch, she wouldn't know. "Don't worry, I test drove it yesterday, and it's absolutely the god of war on Mount Akina." Lin Xiao was full of confidence. "Yesterday, I became one with this Hummer and shredded a huge horde of zombies. Now I just drive it out to shop and do some light watering." Seeing Lin Xiao's confidence, Yao Xin felt much more at ease. Soon, Lin Xiao started the car and slowly drove Yao Xin out of the school gate. At the school gate, Lin Xiao has already dealt with the zombie security guard from yesterday. After a night, no new zombies have arrived. The food street outside the school gate has become eerily quiet, not a soul can be seen. Even the corpses of the zombies Lin Xiao killed yesterday have disappeared. Lin Xiao didn't pay any attention. He already knew this in his previous life. After being invaded by the fog and turned into a zombie, the body is actually supported entirely by energy. After the mutation crystal is taken, the zombie's body will turn to ashes within 2 hours. Although Lin Xiao didn't understand the underlying principle, it was clear that it brought considerable convenience to the surviving humans. Driving away, Lin Xiao left the school with ease. Once you reach the street, you can see quite a few zombies. The hotel street around the school in particular saw a large influx of zombies due to the unusual timing. Lin Xiao thought for a moment and decided to go around it. He would deal with the zombies here next time. Today's goal is singular: to completely wipe out the entire Walmart supermarket chain. I just don't know if Yao Xin has enough space. If you squeeze it in, it should be able to fit right. After the initial tension, Yao Xin gradually relaxed. It doesn't seem as dangerous outside as Lin Xiao had imagined. Aside from being unable to see or hear anything, there were no zombies appearing. But she didn't know that while she was pondering this question, there were 2 zombies outside her car door, staring blankly at the car that had suddenly driven by. Because it happened so suddenly, the zombies didn't have time to react. By the time they tried to give chase, the car had already disappeared into the white fog, leaving them with no choice but to give up. And so, Lin Xiao drove smoothly to his destination for the day, Walmart supermarket. As the largest chain supermarket in the area, it usually closes at 10:30 p.m. When the fog rolls in, although there are still some people lingering in the supermarket, there aren't many. Moreover, these people have now all become zombies. Even if some are lucky enough to escape the fog, before the fog completely blocks the zombies' sight and hearing, it is almost impossible for them to survive. The supermarket doors were open, and the neon lights on the billboards were still flashing. Seeing the car stop, Yao Xin knew that they had arrived at their destination. Even now, she still doesn't know where Lin Xiao has taken her. "Get off." After observing the surroundings and finding no zombies nearby, Lin Xiao called Yao Xin to get out of the car. After getting off the car, Lin Xiao naturally took Yao Xin's hand, and Yao Xin did not resist at all. The 2 of them were already used to this. Upon arriving at the supermarket entrance, the security guards remained dedicated to their duties, showing no sign of forgetting their responsibilities even after being transformed into zombies. Through the door, Lin Xiao could see the situation inside. It was very chaotic, but thankfully, perhaps because it was so late. Fortunately, the security guards at the entrance of these supermarkets are mostly elderly men. And there weren't many, only 2. Lin Xiao glanced at Yao Xin beside him, but did not choose to confront her directly. He wasn't afraid of these old men himself, but he was afraid that Yao Xin would be terrified if she saw this situation. If the zombie grandpa takes advantage of the situation and sneaks in, Lin Xiao will have nowhere to turn for help. After waiting for 2 minutes while the 2 old men were together, Lin Xiao pulled Yao Xin through the supermarket door quickly. Finally, Lin Xiao saw the scene he had dreamed of in his previous life, and he was quite excited. However, the danger isn't over yet. Only by avoiding the zombies hiding inside the supermarket and finding its storage warehouse can one truly emerge victorious. After passing the first hurdle, the security guard, there were still several attractive cashier zombies at the entrance. This was the second hurdle Lin Xiao had to face. Just to be on the safe side, Lin Xiao took the fire axe out of his backpack again. This was the first time Yao Xin had ever seen this axe. Previously, when killing zombies at the dormitory entrance, Lin Xiao only took out the axe after leaving Yao Xin's sight. Upon seeing the still wet bloodstains on the axe, Yao Xin's pupils dilated suddenly. Lin Xiao. Yao Xin's voice trembled slightly, her eyes fixed on the fire axe in Lin Xiao's hand. To be precise, he was staring at the bloodstains on the axe. If you believe me and want to live, shut up and come with me. Lin Xiao looked at her coldly. If Yao Xin made any other move at this moment, Lin Xiao would abandon her without hesitation. Although Yao Xin's special ability could be of great help to Lin Xiao, he wanted to ensure that this help was within his control. At the very least, it's Yao Xin's absolute trust in me. If this cannot be done, it will be useless for Lin Xiao to hoard more supplies with her. Who knows, one day she might just take the supplies and run away. That was truly a case of losing both one's wife and one's army. In his previous life, Lin Xiao had already been betrayed once. He dared not easily trust anyone, especially good-looking women. Seeing Lin Xiao's suddenly cold gaze, Yao Xin felt a pang of disappointment. I trust you. Thinking about Lin Xiao's actions over the past 2 days, and combining that with the eerie screams and cries for help I heard the night before last, Yao Xin immediately convinced herself. Although she had only known this junior for 2 days, he had already given her a sense of security she had never felt before. At this moment, she chose to unconditionally believe in Lin Xiao. Hearing Yao Xin's answer, Lin Xiao's expression softened. He simply switched the hand he was holding from his right to his left. His right hand was already gripping the fire axe tightly, ready for battle at any moment. Seeing Lin Xiao's actions, Yao Xin also began to feel nervous. Although she couldn't see anything, she knew that there must be enemies ahead. The only question is whether this enemy is human or something else. Lin Xiao's movements had slowed down. Avoiding a fight was definitely the best option. Although Yao Xin will eventually have to embark on the path of battle in this apocalyptic world, it's still a bit too early now. Even if she can't do anything while being a mobile spatial storage unit, Lin Xiao still has to protect her well. The two cautiously moved forward, getting closer and closer to the several cashier zombies. Lin Xiao took a deep breath and adjusted his right hand to prepare for a faster attack. Hurry up, we're catching up. Lin Xiao turned back and gave Yao Xin another piece of advice. Yao Xin nodded and was also ready. Run. Lin Xiao suddenly shouted, but because of the white mist, he spoke softly for fear that Yao Xin wouldn't hear him. Then, taking advantage of the moment when the cashier zombie was slightly out of position and facing away from her, Lin Xiao suddenly pushed off with both legs and pulled Yao Xin forward. Although Yao Xin's body had also been modified by the fog, she was not yet fully familiar with it. Moreover, Lin Xiao is now a second-tier mutant, and the two are not even in the same league. As Lin Xiao sped up, Yao Xin felt a sudden tightening in her right hand. She was half running and half being pulled along, quickly running forward. In an instant, the two were already between the two cashier zombies. If the two zombies happen to turn around at that moment, the two can pass safely. Only, upon seeing a figure, Yao Xin was probably a little excited and couldn't help but shout out, "Someone is there." At such close range, upon hearing the sound, the two zombie cashiers immediately turned around. The moment Lin Xiao heard Yao Xin speak, he had a bad feeling. Sure enough, the two zombies turned around very quickly. Then Yao Xin saw something terrifying in front of these two people. The person on the left was probably turned into a zombie by the white mist, so they still look relatively normal. His eyes were lifeless, his face expressionless, and the moment he saw Yao Xin, he opened his blood-red mouth wide. The one on the right, however, is much more cruel. As expected, this person was not affected by the white mist and remained a normal person. Unfortunately, she was surrounded by zombie colleagues and was immediately bitten, with no chance to escape. This resulted in her body looking tattered and torn, covered in bite marks and tears. Even so, she still maintained a strong vitality. That's what makes zombies so monstrous. The moment the two zombies turned around, Yao Xin's eyes widened suddenly. Just as she was about to scream reflexively, Lin Xiao grabbed her and covered her mouth. If you don't want to attract more of us to die here, then keep yelling. Upon hearing Lin Xiao's icy words, Yao Xin quickly covered her mouth tightly with both hands, afraid of making any more noise. Because they were so close, the two zombies quickly drew near. Lin Xiao glanced at the other zombies wandering around nearby. At this point, he had no choice but to finish them off quickly. Otherwise, expanding the battleground will only attract more enemies. Gritting his teeth, Lin Xiao suddenly pushed Yao Xin behind him, shielding her with his entire body. He brought the fire axe down with a fierce chop. The power unleashed by a second-tier mutant, coupled with the mutation in his hands, made this axe strike reminiscent of Chen Xiang splitting a mountain to save his mother. With a swift axe stroke, Lin Xiao cleaved the head of the rather disgusting zombie on the right in two. But the zombie on the left didn't care about any of that. It was already very close, and Lin Xiao could even see the fine hairs on its face. With its gaping maw wide open, Lin Xiao could have easily dodged the attack if Yao Xin hadn't been behind him. But a flicker of hesitation crossed Lin Xiao's mind. To give up or to take a gamble, at that moment the mouth was only 0.5 centimeters away from Lin Xiao, but 0.1 seconds later everything changed. Yao Xin, who should have been hiding behind Lin Xiao, suddenly pushed him away, allowing him to avoid the fatal blow. Then, the seemingly frail and pretty senior student bit her lip and struck the zombie in the chest with her delicate little fist. Perhaps in the heat of the moment, Yao Xin's body underwent a full-scale transformation, and this already weak zombie was knocked back 3 or 4 steps by her punch. Seeing this, Lin Xiao quickly stepped forward and swung his axe to kill the other man. After dealing with the zombie, Lin Xiao turned around in surprise, looked at Yao Xin, who had suddenly made a move, and a smile appeared on his lips. This senior seems to be even more impressive than I imagined. At least she shouldn't be just a pretty face anymore. After taking down the 2 cashier zombies, Lin Xiao didn't hesitate at all. He pulled Yao Xin, who was slumped on the ground, to her feet and walked inside. There are several zombie waiters around here. It's not safe to stay here. The supermarket has a large space, and since it's close to closing time, there are very few people, making it easier to find a safe place to rest. Soon, Lin Xiao dragged the lifeless Yao Xin to a relatively safe place. Leaning against the shelf, Yao Xin collapsed to the ground. Although she had just mustered the courage to push Lin Xiao away and successfully repelled the zombie, giving the 2 of them a chance to survive. But now, recalling it, I turned pale and felt a churning in my stomach. Lin Xiao didn't rush him. Everything takes time to adjust. Even he, when he first encountered zombies in his previous life, wasn't much better off than Yao Xin. The first time I killed a zombie, I gagged for a long time and my hands and feet trembled for half an hour before I could barely stop. Although Yao Xin didn't directly kill the zombies, she was still involved and even witnessed it firsthand. This is undoubtedly a strong shock to a female college student living in a harmonious and beautiful society. Considering the zombies' terrifying appearance, Lin Xiao felt that even in his previous life, he might not have done any better. Excellent people are excellent no matter what. Even when faced with a sudden apocalypse, they would adapt much more easily than ordinary people. After a good 10 minutes, Yao Xin's complexion finally regained some color. Looking up at Lin Xiao, who had been standing beside her, Yao Xin suddenly felt a sense of security. Especially when Lin Xiao stood in front of her without hesitation, she suddenly remembered a very old saying. In this life, have you ever risked your life for anyone? And now she has someone who would risk their life for her. She certainly couldn't let Lin Xiao down. Little did she know that in that instant, Lin Xiao had considered giving up on her countless times. If it weren't for her spatial abilities, Lin Xiao would probably have run away long ago. But no matter what the process is, as long as the result is good, that's all that matters. After a dozen minutes of respite, Yao Xin was able to stand up again. Although her legs were still trembling a little, she was already able to walk with Lin Xiao's help. Time is limited, we must get back before dark. He had already tried it yesterday. His eyes seemed to only work in this thick fog but not yet to allow him to see in the dark. Therefore, he had to get back to his dormitory before dark. Only there could he feel truly safe. Can you cook? How good are your cooking skills? While holding Yao Xin's hand, Lin Xiao casually asked, trying to find some other focus for her to relieve some pressure. It should be all right, I guess. Yao Xin came from a poor family, and she started doing housework in the 3rd grade of elementary school. While I wouldn't claim to have exceptional culinary skills, my cooking is more than sufficient for everyday dishes. Okay, then put these into your spatial storage. Lin Xiao took her hand and led her to the fresh produce section of the supermarket. They're advertised as fresh vegetables, but they're not actually that fresh. Although the refrigeration machine has been running powerfully and has never stopped, this dish is already 2 days old. However, Lin Xiao didn't care. As long as it wasn't broken, it didn't matter at all. In my previous life, although meat was scarce, vegetables were even scarcer. The fog only lasted for 1 day after it cleared, and due to a lack of maintenance over a long period, global water and power outages began. At that time, all ingredients will become even scarcer. Resources that are difficult to preserve and hard to regenerate have become rare and precious items. I've accepted them all. Lin Xiao glanced around. The nearest zombies were still quite a distance away, so Yao Xin could collect them without worry. Don't move the counter inside, it takes up space. Just use it for storing supplies. Seeing Yao Xin clumsily putting the entire counter and all the dishes on it into her spatial storage, Lin Xiao quickly reminded her. Space is limited, so these useless things definitely can't be collected haphazardly. Oh well. Upon hearing Lin Xiao's words, Yao Xin quickly brought the counter out again, but she wasn't quite used to putting it down and accidentally slammed it hard onto the ground. The immense tremor caused even the zombies in the distance to turn and look in their direction. The thick fog blocked out all signs of life, and the low-intelligence zombies clearly couldn't think that far ahead. Finding nothing amiss, they returned to normal. Yao Xin seemed to realize she had done something wrong, and now she looked at Lin Xiao with her big eyes full of apology. It's okay, let's continue. Lin Xiao turned her head away, not daring to look at Yao Xin's innocent face. Seeing Lin Xiao turn his head away, Yao Xin knew that her mistake hadn't caused any trouble. A smile appeared on her face, and even the fear she had felt earlier dissipated considerably. They continued loading. This time, Yao Xin was much more careful, only loading supplies and discarding all other miscellaneous items. This speed, however, left Lin Xiao somewhat impressed. Since it was already evening when the apocalypse began, there wasn't much food left, and Yao Xin quickly packed it all up. Do you want some potato chips? Eat, I want cucumber flavor. Lin Xiao was completely bewildered. Girl, you thought this was real shopping? You actually started picking things out. Take them all no matter what flavor they are. Lin Xiao had already led Yao Xin to the potato chip shelf, urging her to hurry up and get started. However, not far away, a female office worker zombie was wandering around. As expected, I was working overtime until late at night, so I came to the supermarket to buy some things before it closed so I could go home. You collect it here, I'll come over there, it'll be quick. After whispering something in Yao Xin's ear, Lin Xiao disappeared into the white mist. Lin Xiao's departure left Yao Xin feeling suddenly empty. Having witnessed the zombies, she already knew what Lin Xiao was going to do. I started to feel nervous. If something happens to Lin Xiao. Just as she was beginning to feel tormented, a familiar voice appeared again. Why are you stunned? Keep collecting. It's just an ordinary zombie. With Lin Xiao's current skills, dealing with it is truly effortless. Before Yao Xin could even begin to develop any feelings for him, the battle had already ended and they were already here. Oh well. Yao Xin snapped out of her daze and quickly turned her gaze back to the shelves, frantically starting to gather the supplies in an attempt to ease her earlier embarrassment. In this situation, her collection speed seemed to increase significantly. While Lin Xiao and Yao Xin were awkwardly busy, he kept looking around. What are you looking for? After Yao Xin finished clearing the entire shelf, she asked curiously. I'm wondering where this supermarket's warehouse is. The collection speed here is too slow and there are always zombies roaming around. If we can find the warehouse. You're looking for this, I know. Lin Xiao slowly turned his head to look at Yao Xin in front of him, a big question mark appearing on his face. I used to work here during summer breaks, so I know where the warehouse is. Yao Xin explained. Why didn't you say so sooner? Were you following me around here searching every single shelf? Lin Xiao finally couldn't hold back anymore. How could this girl still speak so smugly? Did she forget her brain? Xingcheng University is, after all, a key university. At this moment, Lin Xiao even had a slight doubt about his school. With Yao Xin, the experienced driver, guiding him, Lin Xiao quickly found the warehouse of this large chain supermarket. To Lin Xiao's even greater surprise, the warehouse door was actually open. The supermarket starts receiving goods at 11 p.m. every night, so the warehouse doors open just before closing time. Yao Xin, who used to work part-time here, is quite familiar with these things. However, although the gate was open, it wasn't a place where just anyone could go in. There were also more than a dozen male zombies at the entrance. Just by looking at their physiques, you can tell they're all waiting to be unloaded. Although turning into a zombie greatly enhances combat power, there will definitely still be some differences. A zombie of this size could probably take on 5 cashier zombies in one go. Lean against this spot and wait for me a moment. Lin Xiao found a relatively safe place and had Yao Xin hide there. Once the battle begins, Lin Xiao definitely won't have time to look after her. If some zombies wander over randomly, that would be terrible. Yao Xin was very obedient, squatting quietly in the corner, but her eyes couldn't hide the worry. She knew that at this time, there were definitely more than just 1 or 2 people at the warehouse entrance. If they all turn into those terrifying zombies, can Lin Xiao handle it alone? Don't worry, they're just a bunch of big dumb idiots who can't see or hear. Lin Xiao met Yao Xin's gaze, chuckled softly, and said comfortingly. Lin Xiao wasn't really afraid of dealing with these dozen or so zombies. Without Yao Xin holding him back, he could fully demonstrate his strength as a second-tier mutant. Add to that the visual advantage, wouldn't it be an easy way to slaughter them? Lin Xiao weighed the fire axe in his hand, looked at the dozen or so zombies in front of him, and a hint of excitement appeared in his eyes. In his previous life, his overall combat strength was actually quite weak because only his eyes had mutated. He has little chance of defeating zombies of the same level. They can only rely on a team. After being kicked out, Lin Xiao didn't live long before succumbing to the zombies and dying. At that time, he particularly envied those who could transform their limbs. They possess formidable combat capabilities when facing zombies. As for more advanced internal and mental mutations, he didn't even dare to think about them. Now, he has not only fulfilled his dream from his previous life, but also possesses the advantage of higher level. Shouldn't he go all out and kill them all? However, Lin Xiao wasn't stupid. He wasn't arrogant enough to charge in alone, attract a dozen zombies, and then confront them head-on to demonstrate his strength. Having natural advantages and not using them is just foolish. Taking advantage of his superior line of sight, Lin Xiao quickly and stealthily crept up behind them. Holding the axe in his right hand, Lin Xiao moved with extreme agility. These skills were honed in the flames of war in my previous life. You're the one. Lin Xiao fixed his gaze on the last zombie, and with a sudden burst of power, he quickly moved closer to it. In a second, he appeared behind the zombie, his right hand raised high. His mutated right hand possessed immense strength. With a sharp fire axe, he effortlessly cleaved the opponent's head open. One fatal blow. However, this commotion immediately attracted two zombies that were not far away. Facing an attack from both the left and right, Lin Xiao remained calm. With a nimble dodge, he avoided the attack, and the axe came crashing down again. After dealing with the two zombies, Lin Xiao couldn't help but smile. That was awesome. The pent-up frustrations of the previous life were released to their fullest extent at this moment. At the same time, he also reassessed his own combat capabilities. With the strength of a second-tier mutant, dealing with zombies that have only been around for 2 days is far too easy. As time goes on, the white mist is continuously absorbed by these zombies, and many of them become stronger. According to later summaries, those who were already strong and healthy before the apocalypse were more likely to advance in rank. Therefore, Lin Xiao has prematurely eliminated a group of zombie geniuses, making an outstanding contribution to the survival of humanity. Shaking his head, Lin Xiao dismissed these random thoughts. There were still about a dozen zombies waiting for him to deal with. If it takes too long, Yao Xin will definitely worry. With that in mind, Lin Xiao selected his hunting target once again. It's the same old trick, ambushing from behind, taking advantage of the zombies' lack of sight and hearing. Although the method is old, it still works. After a satisfying burst of attacks, Lin Xiao easily dispatched the dozen or so strong zombies and obtained 14 mutated crystals. Looking at the mutated crystals in my hand, including those left over from yesterday and the new ones I acquired today, I now have more than 30. Lin Xiao began to wonder if he should also upgrade Yao Xin's level. At least their combat strength will be slightly stronger and they won't fare so badly when facing ordinary zombies. But there's no rush. Let's talk about it when we get back. After collecting his spoils, Lin Xiao tidied himself up a bit before heading towards where Yao Xin was hiding. Yao Xin was still leaning against the wall, but now she was standing instead of squatting. Although she couldn't see very far and couldn't hear anything, she still stared intently ahead. A sense of relief flashed through Lin Xiao's heart. Since encountering the zombies, Yao Xin's performance so far has been commendable. At least when Lin Xiao first came into contact with it in his previous life, he could only do this much. However, this is also closely related to Lin Xiao himself. After all, Yao Xin wasn't alone from beginning to end. She had Lin Xiao, an experienced expert, accompanying her throughout. This still had a significant impact on her. When Lin Xiao appeared, Yao Xin relaxed at a speed visible to the naked eye. He slumped back down against the wall. This time, Lin Xiao was gone for almost 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes were torture for Yao Xin. Every second was an ordeal. Not only do they have to worry about Lin Xiao's safety, but they also have to be careful that zombies might suddenly appear. She had been in a state of high tension the whole time and only got to rest after Lin Xiao returned. Rest for a few minutes before you go. Lin Xiao took out his phone, which showed 10:40. There's still plenty of time, so there's no need to rush. After all, the treasure vault was already right in front of them. All they had to do next was go in and collect it. At this moment, even Lin Xiao, who had been relatively calm, revealed excitement in his eyes. The storage capacity of an entire chain of supermarkets, even after a day of consumption, is absolutely staggering. If Lin Xiao and Yao Xin eat this, they can at least live comfortably for 1 or 2 years in the apocalypse. This break lasted for a full 10 minutes. Next, we're counting on Yao Xin to perform well, so of course she needs to get enough rest now. Anyway, it's still early, so a little longer won't make a difference. I'm all better. Yao Xin had completely calmed down by this point, both emotionally and physically. Without letting Lin Xiao help her up, she stood up on her own and then took Lin Xiao's left hand. Seeing this, Lin Xiao didn't say anything more. He simply held Yao Xin's small hand tightly and took a firm step forward. Soon, the two had already arrived at the warehouse entrance. The corpses lying haphazardly were not on their route, as if Lin Xiao had planned it all along. Therefore, Yao Xin naturally did not see the scene she had imagined. This relieved her, but also left her with some regret. After learning about the existence of zombies, she actually became somewhat curious. Moreover, since Lin Xiao was fighting alone here, she wanted to get a sense of what the battle had been like. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but that's not the point. Lin Xiao pulled him back, and the two of them had already entered the warehouse. Although Lin Xiao was mentally prepared, he still couldn't help but tremble when he saw the mountain of supplies in front of him. They've struck it rich. For someone who has survived 3 months in the apocalypse, the scene before them was incredibly shocking. Should I start collecting immediately? Yao Xin's words pulled Lin Xiao back from his excitement. No, no, no. Lin Xiao quickly shook his head and said, although most of the supplies in the supermarket will still be useful after the apocalypse, but Yao Xin's space is limited, and it's impossible to fit everything in. At this point, it's time to make choices. The most urgent and valuable items should definitely be taken first, and you should take as many as possible. For example, water. Even a primary school student, if you ask him what the human body needs most, he can answer that it's water. You might not die from starvation for 3 or 4 days, but you'll basically die from dehydration for 3 or 4 days. In the post-apocalyptic world, this sealed, packaged, edible, purified water can even fetch exorbitant prices. Water. Yao Xin thought for a moment and gave a rough location. Lin Xiao ignored the mountain of supplies in front of him and walked directly past it toward the water source. Immediately, a vast array of various brands of mineral water appeared before his eyes. That's all, take it all with you. Lin Xiao's hand trembled slightly as he held Yao Xin's. Without wasting words, Yao Xin immediately took action despite the limited visibility. After several loading operations, Yao Xin's movements became increasingly skilled. The speed at which supplies are being placed into the space is also getting faster and faster. It can more accurately separate unnecessary items, avoiding wasted space. Besides water, all these drinks were put in too. In this situation, Lin Xiao couldn't offer any help and could only watch Yao Xin excitedly from the sidelines. As Yao Xin collected box after box of water, Lin Xiao's heart remained filled with excitement. With these things plus my own strength, this apocalypse doesn't seem so scary anymore. It took Yao Xin more than half an hour to clean up all the water and various drinks in the area. Next, it's time to collect the other supplies. With plenty of water, the next step is definitely to fill our stomachs. I collected some recipes from there before, but that's far from enough. Pack about half of this rice. Lin Xiao gave the instructions, and Yao Xin worked quietly. Rice is something that's always good to have, but it's not so precious in the apocalypse. Because rice has a relatively long shelf life, and it is mostly sealed. Even after the apocalypse, there was still plenty of rice. But cooking rice requires water, and the water used for cooking rice is even more expensive than the rice itself. Therefore, Lin Xiao didn't let Yao Xin take much. She only brought about 100 bags of rice, which was about 50 kilograms. Wow, this was the umpteenth time Lin Xiao had sighed like this. They had now reached the condiment section. Looking at the rows of table salt and various sauces in front of him, Lin Xiao even swallowed hard. During the 3 months of the apocalypse, he basically didn't eat anything with a taste. In a post-apocalyptic world, salt would be just as important as water. Without sufficient salt intake, the body will quickly become weak and experience general fatigue. Headache, nausea, confusion, and other symptoms will follow. This is also a major reason why humans were completely outmatched by zombies in the early stages of the apocalypse. They simply didn't have enough strength to fight. Take them all, don't leave out a single package. Yao Xin also understood the importance of salt to the human body, so Lin Xiao didn't need to explain it further. Upon seeing this table salt, they immediately began collecting it. Besides table salt, soy sauce, light soy sauce, cooking oil, and other condiments were also crammed into the space. By the time Yao Xin had completely emptied the area, more than an hour had passed. Just as Lin Xiao was about to continue walking, his stomach suddenly growled twice at an inopportune moment. It was almost 1 o'clock. The two of them had eaten some breakfast early in the morning but hadn't eaten anything else since. Along the way, several battles were fought. I wasn't aware of it because I was so excited, but now that I've stopped, my stomach is protesting. Not only Lin Xiao, but Yao Xin also looked up at him somewhat shyly. Unsurprisingly, she was probably hungry too. Can you even eat this? Lin Xiao suddenly spoke up and asked. Yao Xin froze for a moment, then suddenly bent over and began to gag. Damn it, this guy did it on purpose, didn't he? I hadn't even thought of it myself, but he insisted on bringing it up. Now the zombies that Yao Xin had finally managed to temporarily forget about have reappeared in her mind. How could she possibly eat after that? Although her stomach was still protesting and there was nothing left in it, she continued to lie there dry heaving. Lin Xiao touched his head sheepishly as if he had spoken out of turn. Would you like some water? The tentative question made Yao Xin turn around and glare at him fiercely. No need, we can eat together, I'm fine. Yao Xin finally stopped her body's reaction and said firmly, she is a smart person, and everything that happened today has completely overturned her worldview. But from the moment the thick fog appeared, she was already somewhat prepared. She understood that, perhaps as Lin Xiao had said, the end of the world had truly arrived. As a young person who hasn't heard some apocalyptic legends, if all of this is true, then if I want to survive, I must adapt to it all. Lin Xiao was so hungry that he took out some bread from his backpack and started eating it, and also opened a bottle of yogurt. Seeing this, Yao Xin snatched the bread from Lin Xiao's hand and stuffed it into her mouth. Seeing that the bread he had only taken 2 bites of was snatched away, and he was treated so cruelly, Lin Xiao simply handed over the yogurt in his right hand as well. Eat slowly, don't choke. After eating, the two rested for a while before resuming their frantic stockpiling spree. Do we need these bedding items? Looking at the various mattresses, quilts, and other items in front of her, Yao Xin asked a question. Just take a few dozen sets, no more. Lin Xiao thought for a moment and decided to collect some anyway since he had space and these things would all be useful. Yao Xin was very obedient. She took whatever amount Lin Xiao asked for. Anyway, she had already made plans long ago. Follow Lin Xiao. Although it was unclear why he knew about the end of the world in advance and why he could ignore the vast fog as if it were nothing. But Yao Xin knew one thing, clinging to this powerful figure was definitely the right thing to do. And as a woman, when real danger strikes, I always find myself instinctively relying on the men around me. This is a biological instinct, though it doesn't exclude some inherently strong women. Yao Xin is clearly not like that. At most, you could say she's a bit independent and a bit strong. After spending 2 days with Lin Xiao, many details made her start to regard him as the person she could trust the most right now. I want all of these. Yao Xin was still thinking when she suddenly heard Lin Xiao shout. He seemed even more excited than when he saw table salt. Yao Xin cautiously approached and looked up. Rows of shelves were filled with various brands of chili sauce. As someone from Hunan province, if I had to name the things that are indispensable in my life, chili peppers would definitely be near the top of the list. Some might argue, I'm from Hunan province, but I really can't eat spicy food. Then you are very wrong. Your claim that you can't eat spicy food is based on comparison with your family and friends. But even someone from Hunan province who can't eat spicy food will never lack chili peppers in their life. They just won't realize it. If he went to Zhejiang and Guangdong provinces and ate there for 2 weeks, he would realize just how much spicy food he could handle. Therefore, after the apocalypse, Lin Xiao had no idea what other places would be like. But in Changsha, chili sauce is definitely a top-tier rare commodity. Moreover, all hot sauces already contain salt. This greatly increases its value. Yao Xin dared not delay and immediately began collecting them. However, as a large chain supermarket located in Changsha, chili sauce is definitely one of the items they stock the most. When she was halfway through collecting the materials, Yao Xin suddenly stopped. What's wrong? Seeing her actions, Lin Xiao hurriedly asked anxiously. It seems there isn't enough space. Yao Xin felt a little embarrassed. Her personal space was only about the size of the school's supermarket. Anyone with a brain could figure out that she couldn't possibly empty the warehouse of a supermarket like Walmart. The water and salt, though piled up densely, already took up most of the space. Hearing Yao Xin's words, Lin Xiao was also stunned, having forgotten about this. That won't do. Lin Xiao had previously thought that a space of over 100 square meters and 3 meters high was quite large. But when I actually put it away, I realized it was really too small. He wished he could empty the entire warehouse of Walmart supermarket. Don't rush, let me think. Lin Xiao released Yao Xin's hand and started spinning in place. The treasure is right in front of you, but you can't take it with you. This feeling is truly incredibly frustrating. I see. After walking around for more than 10 laps, Lin Xiao suddenly realized something. Am I stupid? If there's not enough space, then let Yao Xin upgrade. Although Lin Xiao hadn't met any high-ranking figures in his previous life, he had known Chen Feifei for a while. Chen Feifei's fire-type attacks gain a significant power boost with each level up. Could Yao Xin's space be the same? Just do what you think of, even if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. Lin Xiao had originally planned to upgrade Yao Xin anyway. Here, eat these things. Lin Xiao suddenly took out 10 mutated crystals from his backpack and handed them to Yao Xin. What is this? Yao Xin blankly accepted the things Lin Xiao handed her and asked curiously. This lowest-grade mutated crystal is entirely white and has no odor whatsoever. Holding it in your hand, you can clearly feel its hardness. Eat this thing. Although Lin Xiao said these words, Yao Xin remained somewhat skeptical due to her rationality. Besides, where did this thing come from? I've never seen Lin Xiao take it out before. Yes, just pop them into your mouth one by one. Lin Xiao didn't intend to explain. If you told Yao Xin that this was just pulled from the heads of those dozen or so burly zombie men at the warehouse entrance, she probably wouldn't be able to bring herself to eat it today. Yeah. Yao Xin was still somewhat skeptical, but she knew that Lin Xiao had no reason to lie to her, so she tentatively picked one up and slowly put it in her mouth. Smack. Yao Xin was about to smack her lips a few times, but as soon as it entered her mouth, it melted completely, leaving her with absolutely no sensation. There was a warm current of air as if it had entered my body. It felt quite comfortable. Keep eating. Lin Xiao naturally knew what it felt like to take the mutated crystal and immediately spoke up after Yao Xin swallowed it. Seeing Lin Xiao's expectant eyes, Yao Xin did not hesitate. Since it's been tested and confirmed to be edible, then it's fine. One mutated crystal after another was thrown into Yao Xin's mouth. Each one was the same, disappearing without a trace as soon as it entered her mouth. Only the warm currents within his body became increasingly noticeable. This feels so weird. Yao Xin muttered something to herself. No sooner had she finished speaking than the energy from the 10 mutated crystals suddenly surged from her body to her head. Oh dear, it's getting a little intoxicating. Yao Xin called out playfully. Lin Xiao knew that this was the start of an upgrade. Sure enough, Yao Xin closed her eyes after saying those words. After a while, Yao Xin opened her eyes again, her eyes shining with excitement. Lin Xiao, I think I've changed a bit. Yao Xin's tone revealed a hint of excitement. How is it? Has the space gotten bigger? There will definitely be changes after the upgrade. Lin Xiao is only concerned with whether Yao Xin's space has increased after the upgrade. Under Lin Xiao's tense gaze, Yao Xin smiled happily. It's bigger, twice the size. Hearing this, Lin Xiao finally felt relieved. This is only the first-tier mutant, and the space has already doubled in size, which is the size of 3 supermarkets. If it's upgraded again, wouldn't it become even more outrageous? Lin Xiao began to look forward to it. It seems I need to find a way to get Yao Xin to level 3 in the next few days. Then, just thinking about filling her personal space made Lin Xiao grin from ear to ear.